Let's see here. 3, 2, 1. Live stream. You bet. Well, nope. I guess we're not there yet because Zoom is there. We go. And that means Star's going to want the link and everything. Social media, blah, 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 blah.
Isn't it funny how social media helps us be antisocial?
Yeah, right.
Isn't that funny?
A little in that
Shower thoughts.
in that kind of way. Yeah. It's very funny stuff. Let me know when you're all set.
I am good.
Awesome. Wanted to recap from last time.
All I remember was Ozetta looked around the corner and something was there.
So we started in Jax's town and we ran into Kanosai. We had a wild bloom occur, which is essentially a bunch of flowers that start coming through
Pretty much all at once. Yeah, like a tidal wave of flowers.
Yep. And there were a ton of bugs in it as well. They started to attack the town, and Jack said that we would be rewarded if we saved the town. So between explosions that blew out walls and using the ship to kind of blast away all these bugs, we eventually did save that, and we got a bunch of stuff from Jax's warehouse. And he asked us to do one more job to help with the Skullfires, which is a mercenary group that seems to be, in the area that he doesn't get along with. So we, in that confrontation, damaged their ship, and through some leaving of people behind by getting them stuck down below and talking to some of the members, we convinced them that our old captain was the one that damaged the ship, and we left just in time for them to shoot a cannon at that ship. We decided to dive down because Kanosai had a map for San Francisco, and we are heading down there to find some of the treasures. We took a break and everybody started kind of looking around. I decided to look below to see if I could find an iron root, and there is something attacking me, and that's where we stopped.
Speaking of, would you make some sort of save to get out of the way of the giant green tentacle?
Right. We'll use sense. We'll use dodge. We'll use outwit, I guess.
Outwit is fun. Yeah, sure. Go with outwit.
No easing into this, huh?
Nope. And I will use grace. Double sixes. Double
Nice.
6, 5, 4.
You bet. Sounds good. Not only do you effortlessly get out of the way as it snaps the air in front of you and leaves a bore size, like a drill bit sized hole in the tree. What twist do you want?
I guess I will, as it's coming up and it hits that bore size hole, I will pull out my spear at the same time and stab at it to try and get it to retreat away, knowing that we're not easy prey.
You bet. Sounds good. The tentacle retracts. You pull your spear out of it. There is where one might expect to find blood. You come up with plant pulp instead.
Okay.
A second or two after that, after the retraction is complete, the area goes dead quiet again. You notice that it wasn't particularly loud when it attacked you.
We may have a problem. I'm sure you noticed. Because it came through into the layer we're in, right?
Oh yeah. So you've got like your ship in like this hammock of branches, right, and it snapped up at you.
I think I'd remember the layers by now, but I do not.
No worries. As I remember it, you tucked the ship down into like a hammock of branches that it will sit on. So it's stable, right? Lots of branches go up both ways. It's not going anywhere. And you're low enough that the surface where you were before won't see you, unless they were looking deliberately for you. And even then, they'd have to look down and you're probably not going to get found. The only shot anyone has to see you is the bright blue flames on the side of your ship. Because you trust the arm squad with your camouflage.
But not Vom. He eats it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you don't come back for him eventually, he might start licking the side of the ship. Man's got to get his paint fix.
Yep.
Bomb short for vomit?
Vomitorium. He's actually very educated, you see. Speaking of Navales, what are you up to? There was an attack, if you want to call it that. I love how Ozetta tried to loop the blown off wall in the previous sit down with the bugs, because that's not what happened. Like that was you.
I mean, it happened during that event. They did not cause it. We caused it, but
It was-
happened
it was-
during that event.
It was indirectly the bugs because we wouldn't have been doing that if the bugs had not been
Oh,
coming.
I see.
So see, it was the bugs' fault after all.
You're right.
Speaking with
And everybody that was mean to
really
Deadpool that was responsible for everyone he's killed. Oh yeah, like right.
So there's been this attack thing.
Yep. Big green tentacle went. Whoosh. Only it just went. There's just not as much drama in that.
And I try to see what it is, I guess.
As it flits away, yeah, sure. Do you have a specific role you want to make for that?
How about veils? Because I'm going to try to stay like a little hidden.
Sure.
Eyes and outwit.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I got a 6, a 2, and a 1.
Nice. You bet. So you recognize it from your previous studies on, what's flammable and what's not, and how best to burn things. It's an octopod. For all practical counts, it's an octopus that's a plant. Beak, tentacles, the whole bit. It is a flower. It roots to the side of a location and stays there for long periods of time. It can move, but in the same way that forests slowly creep. It throws out pods, right? It dies, the new pods grow, usually only 1 or 2 at a time. We should say octopods live in colonies of 1. It's incredibly quiet, and their techniques are known to, like, it'll be the branches you're sitting on, and then one of them will just kind of, and you're gone. They blend in with their surroundings, and they're very quiet. They're also patient. They digest the food they eat very, very slowly, so they can afford to wait.
Hey guys, we need to go.
Did I hear fire?
I mean, indirectly, like Napales spoke. Of course, you heard fire.
Okay, do we go up or down?
I don't know. Kano side, this is your mission, your crazy plan.
All right. Well, I vote we go down.
You do. Awesome. Joaquin, what do you think? You're the one who's going to see everybody get dead first, probably.
So I am going to actually pull out my long rifle, and using the scope, I'm going to take a look down over the side and see if I can see this thing and see
You bet.
how it's located.
I'm going to have you roll for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
With
Just
a cut of 2.
Okay. So I'm going to use, let's see. I'm going to use Veils, Hawksight, and Deadeye.
Sounds good. Oh, is that a candle?
Yes.
That is a great idea. I should get me a candle.
Okay, so that's a 6 and a 4.
No kidding. You bet. So when you look down, you see the plant. It does its best to look like the iron root that you're sort of hanging off of. It compared the tentacle to what you're looking at now, it drastically changed color. It went from a deep swamp green to almost a slate gray. It's a pretty big jump for a plant. It's big. You're seeing the edge of one of the leaves, excuse me. So imagine a beak in the middle, like a brown-eyed suit, like a peacock, except the bird part is just a big beak. The leaves are huge. The leaves don't change color as well, which is how come you can see it.
Okay. So I will, I'll point it out to everyone so they know exactly where it's located. And then just basically say, so how do we want to do this? Like, we gonna try to take this thing out? We just gonna get away? What do you guys want to do?
Well, if we have a way of safely disabling or destroying the plant, we should try that, I think. We've come this far.
Okay. Nepalese.
Jacobite, what do you think?
I think this is a bad idea. Because normally we're putting fire somewhere else that has a chance of getting at us. This, I'm assuming we're going to probably put fire right below us.
Keep your feet nice and toasty that way.
I kind of want to just go out of the reach of this thing and hope that we don't have another one. That's kind of my thought. And then go down.
Find another tree to dock on.
Well, we're not with our ship. We've already
Oh yeah, that's right.
we've already left the ship. I mean, just like go this way about 100 yards or something, then try.
And I'm actually shockingly going to agree with Jacobite. Like, fire is great and all, except for when it's going to be all around us in seconds.
See, he's not the zealot I thought he was. Zealots totally die for the cause.
So I think so if that's the plan, I think what I might do is I have something called firefly bulbs. So whatever direction we want to go,
Mhm.
I'll have Ozetta go the opposite direction to try and stealth over there and drop one of those through the roots so that maybe it will follow that in the darkness, thinking we're going down somewhere else.
This bug you've got, is it actually a living creature like that gives off heat and everything?
It says firefly bulb, so I'm not sure.
Up to you, I guess.
Uh
Also, I found a picture that represents your visibility conditions fairly well.
okay. Trying to see if maybe I can find a
You
description.
can see your hands in front of your face, but not a lot more than that.
Ooh,
Couple
actually,
feet. Yeah.
can I see, because of my iris blossom thing, I can see heat signatures.
Mhm.
Does that help me see this octopod thing at all?
It does. It gives off very little heat, and you're watching it shift. It can adjust. Presumably, it can adjust to match the temperature of the space it is in. So you're watching it disappear, but not completely. It's not a perfect science. Much like Joaquin can see the leaves that don't quite shift colors as well as the rest of the plant. You watch it not quite pull it off. It doesn't completely vanish into the tree it's a part of. Close though. The spot that's the hottest is definitely the beak, which you can see with your your heat vision down through the ship, but you don't actually have line of sight on it to like shoot it or something.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of assuming these are like light bulbs that have fireflies in them.
Okay, so a bug in a jar.
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially.
Okay, sure.
Which I also have a moth lantern, but I'm not getting rid of that because that's one of my aspects.
bet.
So I guess once we decide what direction we want to go, which I guess I would point them to the direction of the iron root that I saw earlier.
The iron root, you bet.
And then I will make my way the other direction to drop this down and hopefully distract it a little bit.
You bet. So the rest of you, I assume, assuming you're going along with this plan, I assume you want to like hustle. Yeah.
We can do something else if you want. That was just my thought was go this way and then down. But
I think it's a good
I'm game
idea.
for whatever.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
moving away from it's a good idea, but just I figure if I can try and pull it a little bit farther, it won't
Absolutely.
turn around and be like, hey, there they are.
I just picture Deadpool in Boba Fett's armor. Gee, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Like,
Isn't that a great
Can
thought?
you imagine the amount of damage you would do?
Oh, it would be lovely. Awesome.
So
I have a rocket on my back.
What is that, a missile
Joaquin,
backpack?
Once Ozetta points us in the direction that we should go, Joaquin is going to scout ahead in front of
Sounds
everybody. So I'll just kind of move along the treetops using my wave walk and stuff like that. So
Sounds good. Make a roll, not to move, but to see what you see.
okay.
Ozetta, make a stealth roll in the other direction. Everybody else, assuming you want to hustle, make a roll for that to see how effectively you move.
Do I have any cuts to this?
No.
Okay, so.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, 1, the fog is bad.
Okay.
Unless you have fancy vision, and then no.
I mean, I do have Hawk Sight and Deadeye, but.
Does Hawk Sight let you see farther or let you see differently?
Hawk Sight lets me see for great distance. Deadeye allows me to be to like discern things in the great distance, so like be more accurate with my stuff.
Then yeah, no cut. I think the two combined will let you detect even the tiniest little movements in the mist.
Okay, well, I got 2 5s and a 2.
You bet. Sounds good. So you scout ahead, right? You get ahead of everybody else, and you see lots of little scratches in places where something with maybe claws was holding on to the trees. If it's okay with you, I'm not going to tell you what the didn't quite make it is yet.
That's fine.
Okay, sounds good. What twist did you want? Did I hear a twist in there?
Yeah, it was 2 5s. I'll say that this isn't really like a twist per se, but I'll say that as I scouted ahead, I'm gonna leave some kind of markings that they will recognize to where like this is the safe area to go, this is not so safe, so stick on
Sounds
this.
good. As you move out to the like as you pick a spot and wait for them, you notice along that trail of little claw marks that you find a piece of metal, a jagged thing. Maybe it broke off of something, stuck in the side of the iron root. That's really something. Iron roots, they're not invincible or anything, but they are really, really tough.
Okay.
So it looks like maybe the edge of a spear, something jagged metal.
Okay.
Ozetta, what'd you get?
So I'm rolling very well tonight. I got double 6s and double 1s.
Nice. Good thing they don't equal each other out, huh?
Right.
That was you stealthing the other direction and then
Yeah,
bet.
and then just kind of putting that bulb, dropping that bulb down so it'll think maybe we headed that opposite direction, and then make my way back.
You bet. You don't see any movement. If it like lash out and snap the bulbs up, it's not doing it while you're looking at it.
Yep.
Do you want to offer up some sort of narrative twist? This is.
I guess I don't have one.
Okay, sure.
It doesn't see me. I'm able to do it without it finding me. I think that's good enough for me.
Sounds good. You hear the tiniest, like a dog sound, but very, very, very quiet. Not like Elmer Fudd hunting wabbits is quiet, not like that. The rest of you, how'd you do for movement?
I got a 6, a 1, and a 2.
You bet. Sounds good. You catch up to Joaquin with no problems. What does that look like? Are you graceful? Are you clunky?
Yes, quite graceful. Pretty much a natural at climbing trees, so just swinging from branch to branch as needed.
Oh yeah, sure. Just rub it in. No, Polly's, how'd you do?
2 1.
6, 2, 1?
3 2.
3,
1.
2. Oh, rough. So you hop across the as Kanosai, monkey flips and parkours and shit and looks all just amazing. You're like, oh, that's really cool. Whoops. And you fall off a branch and you spiral down a good 50 feet before you get caught in vines hanging off of one of those things. It gets worse. Those vines are definitely like placed there on purpose. You've fallen in somebody's trap, not nature's trap. Jacobite, what'd you get?
5 1 1.
Hey, not bad. So you dart past, you've seen a poly drop, and you make it to where Joaquin is. You see the trail he left. Do you want to use that narrative twist for something?
Yeah, and I may need to roll again depending on what you think.
Sure.
I see what happened.
Where Kanosai was all badass, or where Nepalese went wee,
Or no polys fell.
and made the goofy sound.
Mhm.
I see.
When I get across, I signal to them what happened in case they didn't see, and then I just go.
I'm
Point
picturing that
down.
you do shadow art and you show a picture of a fireball
Yeah.
and then a cactus and then you point.
Yes,
Like-
that's exactly what I was picturing. It's not American Sign Language. It is
Signaling.
Yeah, right.
And it involves a lot of shadow and negative
Right.
space. I like it.
You bet.
No, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna point down and then I'm gonna go and jump down.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. You bet. Yeah, I'm gonna have you roll for that because if you don't stick the vine landing, that is gonna hurt.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna fall a whole lot.
Let me make sure I know what I'm using. Do, 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 do. Okay. I should be able to do so wave walk, climb, and iron. Oh, and sense. I think that would work too. 6622.
Nice. You bet. So not only do you land down on the vines where Nepalese is, but you don't get caught in them, right? You land on them, not in them. You see that there is a very slow slithering vine coming this way that when you see it, it stops moving.
Mhm.
You have a better line of sight at the creature now. Its beak is maybe 60 feet in front of you and a relatively horizontal line up a little bit. Like its beak is eye level with your eyes.
Mhm.
The beak is large enough to swallow any one of you whole.
Lovely.
What twist do you want to use?
That when I hit,
Mm-hmm.
I landed with enough force, firmly
Mhm.
enough that I at least shook Nepalese a little bit free. Maybe not completely free, but
Sounds good.
freed up a couple arms or something.
Nepalese, you are loose enough that you could free yourself. Good news, bad news. Good news is you can free yourself, right? Creature has stopped moving. It is a stealth predator. It probably, as long as it knows you know it's there, it probably won't go for you. It's not a good time. Bad news is you're going to want to climb up real carefully because if you slip and fall, you can't see the bottom. Speaking of, what do you want to do?
Well,
If anybody else wants to like go first, I'm all for that. I'm not really sure where to pick up right here.
I guess I'm actually just going to try to climb back up and get out of this.
Sounds good.
I'm going to pay a lot more attention this time and not be as, in a rush. I mean, be in a rush, but I'm going to use sharp sleep and hack.
You bet. You're going to cut of one. The vines are slick and not designed for climbing.
Okay, and just so I get mechanical, cut is I drop my highest roll, whatever it is.
After
right?
you roll it, yeah. Which is just mean. It's
Okay.
mathematically mean and psychologically mean because you get to see that sweet 6 and then take it off the table.
Well, it's not a 6. It's 2 5s, a 4, and a 1. So I guess one of the 5s goes away.
You bet. Sounds good. Does that leave you with, you said 2 5s, a what and a 1?
4 and a 1.
4-1 is what he's
Okay,
got
you bet.
after the cut.
So you managed to climb the vines, but you snap one of them on your way down. Jacobite, that leaves you with a larger cut to get back up top. Speaking of, do you want me to get to you or the rest of them?
Let's do the rest of them.
You bet. So Nepalese makes it back up to I'm going to use the word surface here really loosely. He gets back up to the level you're on without Jacobite. Ozetta, what do you think?
So I guess if I saw him coming up and I would have seen the signal of Nepalese being down there, I will probably use, what is my ability? I can squeeze through small places. So I might use that to squeeze through the roots so that I'm still anchored on the top to try and help him get up.
Sounds good. You bet.
And still trying to do it as stealthily as possible. So,
You bet.
Grace.
So roll for the stealth bit, but the movement bit won't be a problem.
Okay.
Which is to say, Jacobite, when you go to climb up, won't have that second cut, just the one. Because her presence doesn't undo the presence of the vines, but she'll be able to make up the difference.
631.
You bet. Sounds good. You get down there without any difficulty. Kind of. I'm picturing like one of those little firefoxes. They're real small and they fit in all kinds of places.
I assume since I'm like a gelatin, like being it's more like flubber going through a small hole.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're the glue lady. Yeah. I
Yeah,
forgot.
all of my driftwood core is kind of like shifting to let me go through. It's like a mouse disconnecting all its bones to get through a hole.
Oh, that's super nasty. I can hear the sockets popping and shit.
You're welcome for that mental image.
Joaquin, what do you want to do? Nasty.
Payback for the spider people stuff.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think at this point,
Mm.
I'm going to seeing Star, or not Star, Ozetta. Sorry, seeing Ozetta helping Jacobite out. I'm going to just keep my long rifle out and keep it trained on the arthropod.
Sounds good.
In case it decides to do anything, and just be ready to attack if I need to.
Sounds good. Konosai, what are you up to?
Okay, I'm going to try to get a better angle to get a line of sight to try to shoot the thing with my bow if I have to. If
Okay.
it starts to move aggressively.
Sounds good. You want to move down in the vines a little bit so you have a more.
Yep.
You bet. Would you and Joaquin both make perception rolls?
Sure.
If you have anything that's temperature, if you have some sort of extra benefits for temperature, feel free to include those. As you're the two mushroom people, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that with an extra die. I would definitely call that an advantage.
Okay.
What a fun guy.
Yeah.
Giving you an extra die.
Yeah. Ow.
All right. I have.
Thanks, I'm here all week.
Sorry, that was for those of you who don't know, that's what 1 point of psychic damage feels like.
I have a 5, a 4, and a 2.
Nice.
I got 6, 4, 5, 2.
Oh, awesome. You bet. Joaquin, so you and Konosai both feel this. But Joaquin, you lose sense of it for just a second. Like you're like, what is that? No, that's all wrong. And then you get it right. The air around you is starting to get very cold, very fast. Like the difference between your ambient room temperature and a freezer. As mushroom people, does that bother you? Do you have a preferred temperature?
Warm and humid, probably.
All right. Okay.
Sauteed.
Yeah. little butter. Yeah.
Little butter and some shallots.
Yeah.
But because I'm sure that's not like PTSD talk for mushroom people.
No, I'll basically just like, hey guys, don't know what's going on. It's getting a little chilly. Don't like it.
Is that stressful enough to activate one of your Meyer things, do you think? That's
Yeah.
totally up to you. That wasn't a suggestion one way or the other.
No, that's fine. I would say, yeah, that's probably something that would bother me.
Okay.
Extreme temperatures.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's see, I gotta figure out which one to do. I can choose, right? I can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Konosai, independent of the cold temperature, you drop down. You have line of sight on the creature. You, Nepales, and Jacob. Oh, sorry. You and Jacobite are both down there. If I understand it right, Nepales, Ozetta, and Joaquin are both up there. All of you are, still quite a ways from your ship. Joaquin, did you land on one?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the one that says branches break and bend beneath you, and the explanation behind that. I'll just say that as I personally get colder, my body makeup becomes a little more dense than usual. So I actually get a little bit heavier than I normally am. So it throws off my balance and like my way walking and stuff.
Fancy. It's not fancy. Fascinating. Konosai and Jacobite, you are both looking at the creature. It has stopped moving completely. and started to frost over a little bit, and I just saw like the floofiest cat ass ever. Like that was, I ever look at the cat, like there it is again. Is that a cat or a skunk?
No, it's my cat. She likes to be the center of attention.
Oh, don't let Bruno hear that. You guys are gonna have like animal wars.
He's currently trying to get to go to the bathroom, so.
A new and exciting reality show where pets rip each other apart for the affection of 1,000 screaming fans. So the two of you have line of sight on the creature. It has started to frost over, and you hear the low rumblings of like and yippings of many dogs.
Uh-oh.
The mist around you gets substantially worse as the temperature drops. Like can't see past your elbow, kind of worse.
All right.
Yay.
Can I try to help Jacobite up the tree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, between you and Ozetta, he won't have any cut for that. Now, when you
Do
say
we
help
want to
him,
go up?
I don't know. If you were going to go up, would you all be going up, or are you just kind of pushing him up and then staying down there underneath it? We lost Mike. No, we didn't. He just changed colors. Never mind.
I'm here. I just had to turn my camera off for a second.
Okay, take your time.
I suppose I'd be trying to go up as well because something's happening and I don't know what it is. So
Jacobite, was that a do we want to go up?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here. Is this a phenomenon that I would remotely know about?
Have you been to this part of the lower levels before?
I would say that one of the spirits that makes up my overall being probably would. Not that I'm like a, legion or something, but I assume that an Ironbound has their own entity, soul, whatever, but it comes from a lot of those
Okay,
that have
sounds
passed.
good.
That's my assumption. I don't know, but
No, that
it's
works for me.
that's kind of the way I envisioned this building in my head. But I wouldn't say that I have necessarily myself, but I would think that one of them probably has. So I don't know if that translates. I'm going to leave that up to you.
Okay, let's call that like an echo roll. See if you can't remember,
Okay.
My history roll for that other system, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Yeah, that would be just like a one die thing, right?
Unless you have other edges you want to add.
I mean, let's see.
I think anything that's inherently ironbound would probably work, since you're talking about digging into like your collective selves.
Gotcha. All right, so let's say instinct and sense.
Sounds good.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Did not intend to do that. A 6 and a 1.
You
I
bet.
saw the 1 first and panicked.
Yeah.
This is not the right time to roll ones.
So that is a Druve cloud. Druves are a how do I put this? They're people who suffered from the Wildsea explosion. They're mutants, basically, who live in the lower levels. They're predators. They're not hunting you. More likely, they're hunting the plant. As long as you don't attack them, they won't attack you. There's never been an account of a malicious attack by Druve that has been proven. Then again, the world is filled with hateful people, and they're mutants. So whether or not you think that those stories are true or not is entirely up to you. But presumably there are dog people in this cloud with you who are watching you.
Okay.
Which I suppose includes you, Kano, Sive, and Ozetta, because Joaquin and Apolles are safe. I'm going to use that word loosely. Safer above you.
Okay, so we're all close enough to the way up to probably feel our way up.
You could, yeah.
Right.
The fog is not so thick that you can't see. You just can't see very far.
Okay.
But you have your hand on the vine. So
Okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, in that case, I think I would probably start trying to get up and motion or tap or push or whatever Conasab to, go up as well.
Okay, sounds good. Is anyone else in the group opposed to that? Ozetta, what do you think?
I mean, Ozetta wants to go down, but she also knows that she usually does this alone, and it's easier to avoid these things when alone. So if the group is gonna go up, she's
Was that a passive swipe at the team?
no. Just
Bunch of
knowing
chumps holding me back.
just knowing it's easier to avoid and be stealthy when there's not a group of you. So sitting there going, all right, whatever they decide, I hope it's down. But if it's up, I will go with the group.
Well,
see.
knowing that those come from below, that's why I would go up.
You bet.
And by up, I would just mean up to the others.
Nopales, where are you? Are you you're on a branchy height with Joaquin? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you bet. The two of you and the mist rises with your friends. I'm not gonna have the three roll for that. You get back to where you were without too much difficulty. You slip a little bit, but I mean it's not a huge deal. You get back up, the fog rolls with you, and it parses a little bit afterwards. So when you're all in one spot, the fog rolls away off of some people with elongated, they're dog people. Less koboldy, which are all like kind of gnarled and they look dexterous. They look like they got hands and they know how to use them. More like
Anubis.
yeah, a little bit fatter than that, like like in the face, right? Like the last episode, Monica looks a little bit rounder in the face, kind of like that. They look like a slightly pudgy Anubis. Most of them are shaggy and gray of fur. They match the fog very well. And they step toward you with spears. Joaquin, you recognize the one of them is missing a bit of his spear. Smart Money says that's what's in that tree over there. And they step toward you and they bow their heads and they go, ooh.
Having
I reach forward and I boop the snoot.
The dog, the druid
Gently.
gets underneath you, right? Like he puts his head underneath you and adjusts your hand like, no.
So I'm gonna roll with it.
Okay.
I never thought I would write the term Jacobite boops the snoot in my notes.
Yeah, but players do amazing things. Like just a few minutes ago, Nepales was like, "Yeah, let's not set it on fire," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Growth. We all have growth today.
You watch, the man will get to him yet. You wait. So when you said roll with it, do you mean like you take your hand away, you scratch his head instead?
I'll scratch his head.
You bet. You scratch his head and the happens one more time, and then it starts to kind of twist. And you ever see a science fiction movie where the robot tries to go through languages really fast to figure out which one is yours? That happens, except there's no tinny sound. And the dog eventually in the middle of it, like, and I think, right, it kind of stumbles into it waits for your physical reaction to be like, oh, I heard that. And then it stops. And it stands up straight and it goes, we are the Druve and you are the heroes of the age. We are here to look after you.
Why, yes, we are.
I mean, we're gonna go. Huh?
Connor Side, what do you think? A collection of dog people that popped out of mist just called you like a chosen hero or something.
Bit baffled, but curious, I guess. I'd like to know why they think we happen to be the heroes of the age.
They unfurl a scroll and hold it up, and it has a picture of what would appear to be the lot of you.
Oh.
It's
Is there
badly
any-
drawn, but
Oh, is down here where clover dust comes from?
they scratch their heads, and we are not familiar with what.
Just checking.
On the scroll thing,
Mhm.
is there anyone else shown? Or is it just the five of us?
There is your ship, blue flames and everything.
Bitchin'.
And a much larger ship that like looks like behind you it's going to up and swallow you, like a dinghy in front of a whale. But no other
Sweet.
people, no.
Okay.
Is there some sort of prophecy involved with this foretelling of these heroes?
What we know, right? All Druve know the story. Most creatures down here know the story. Although whether or not they believe it or not is up to person. We believe that you are the 5 champions who will open the door.
The door.
Right. And he points down and goes, oh, right, I forgot. It's down there. It's enormous. It's huge. It's how do I put this? And he takes some dirt out of his pocket, throws it on the ground, and starts drawing in it with his claws. And he draws what looks very much like the Golden Gate Bridge, very much so. And there is what looks like a manhole cover in it, but it's like 80% of the bridge. Which makes I mean no sense, right? Because the Golden Gate Bridge is above the water. It's a bridge, right? But he swears that there's a gate, a door. They call it a door in the bridge. He calls it the dual golden the golden spikes, the 2 ones on the top there. He does not describe it as a bridge, but between his description and what he draws in the dirt, there's no way it's not. And he describes this huge gate that takes up like 80% of the bridge. And then on the other side of it is the chosen land for these people. A holy land undisturbed by time, unlooted by anybody. And while they are simple people and don't really care for all the value that's on the other side, they do care for the unspoiled, clean air that should be down there. They care to live there and leave this ugly place behind. And they are confident that you will open it.
So what's your name? I'll ask the one that I had been unceremoniously petting.
It was, oh no, that was important. It's how we figure out what your language is.
Oh.
Had
okay.
you not done that, I would still be making dog noises into your ears.
Oh.
I am still making Druve noises, but they sound better in your brain because you did the thing.
Sweet.
He goes, I don't really get a name as chief of the Druve. Druve is it. I'm not real thrilled about that. Before that, my name was Yick.
Joaquin says, bless you.
Most people just call me Yick. That's fine.
Okay.
I should clarify that you do not have to open the door. We will not make you. We won't even ask you to. Just we will keep you safe from the plant.
We'll talk about it, but it sounds kind of like a good idea to me. I don't know what the rest of them think, but
We have an escort.
yeah.
No,
seems like
no.
our
Our goals
super
align.
excited about this because things have changed her way and now we might be going down.
He raises a paw and he goes, my apologies. You do not, at least not from us. It is holy ground. We don't go within miles of it. We have broken that tenet by being this close.
So can you at least take us as far as you're able to go?
This is it, but we can get you to the bottom level.
Okay. May I ask another favor?
Of course. Champions and all that.
Is it possible for at least a small contingent of you to keep an eye on our ship, which is that way a little ways?
We cannot do that. It is too close to the surface. The sunlight will burn us to ash.
Oh, then definitely don't do that then.
Yeah, don't do that.
We can though, hold on. And they take some what looks like some awfully smelling fungus out of their pockets and smash that together and sort of form what looks like 2 large bats out of what looks like awful smelling Play-Doh. And then they rub a green substance on it and it comes to life. And they have the 2 bats go up to where your ship is. And they go, the bats will keep it safe. They'll keep an eye out for it. And should anything threatening come within your ship, they will explode and take care of it. Don't feel bad for them. They're
Cool.
not actually alive.
I like explosions.
Napoleon is over back there going, yeah, but is there fire?
I was actually just fixing to ask that.
Lots
So
of
they're,
video games
so they're
split the difference.
flying proximity mines.
Basically.
That's awesome.
Basically, yeah.
Who's a good boy?
Boom. Like, yeah. So now what?
I vote for down.
Of course. you
Guess
do.
we head back down. Yeah.
So
I'm
they-
gonna ask them though
Huh.
if they have any tips, tricks, weapons we could maybe that might help us there that we may not possess already.
They go-
Something.
they each hand you their spears. You don't need that many, right? But they all come forward with their spears. And looking at you with big eyes, you can tell from here without any sort of roll that whoever spears you take are going to be like the talk of the town when they get back to the village, right? The heroes took my weapon. Whoa!
So Joaquin is gonna try and pick out like the smallest, weakest looking one, like the run of the litter.
Yeah,
Take his weapon.
nice.
He's
You
gonna
bet.
take the little guys.
You bet. Does everybody take a spear, or do you just take the one?
Can I take a spear?
I don't need a
Okay.
spear. I'm good.
I have one, but I see how excited they are when somebody grabs theirs. So I grab one at random. I was going to
Sounds
take
good.
the smallest one, but Joaquin beat me.
Jacobite, what do you think?
I'll take one. I'll take Geeks.
You bet.
So I have
Um,
two.
Drew hands you a bag of what looks like little sticky marbles. There's maybe 16 or 17 of them in there. And he says, these glow under any circumstances we have ever encountered. Whether we find them to be very useful, leaving trails, making enemies easier to see. They stick to anything we've ever encountered, and they glow like crazy on anything we've ever encountered. Keep them in the bag, because when he opens the bag, light just shoots out of it. They glow all the time, not just when you throw them, right?
What I was fixing to ask.
They glow all the time. When he opens the bag, it's like, ooh, like an angel beam of light shoots out of it, and then he closes it back up.
It's the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Exactly. Exactly what I was
thinking. Yeah, kind of like that. They hand you a rope. They have like a rope ladder that rolls off the side of this branch. And they go, that will take you all the way to the bottom. Something. Ooh, watch the thorns. Once you get to the red section, stay by the river.
Red section river. Okay.
I would
So-
tell you more about it, but that's all we know. That the plants there are ravenous and hate living things that are not plants so much that they showcase the blood of the things they've already slain.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's
Cool.
why it's red.
Joaquin's gonna raise one of his fingers and or tendrils and be like, do I count as a plant? Does Conicide count as a plant?
We do not know. Truth be told, the story tells us of 5 champions who would lead us to our promised land. It doesn't actually cover what you are in great detail, and we've never seen anybody like you before. If I were you, I would not take that bet.
Okay.
Oh,
What about me? I count as a plant, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Aren't all 3 of you cactus people? No, 2 of you are fungus people, and 1 of you is a cactus people.
Yeah.
I'm green.
Yeah, right. Because the Hulk's a plant. Nopales is probably a plant, but again, the Druve were like, we don't go to the surface. The races you find up there, you will not find down here. We don't know. The only one of you we've ever seen before is Jacobite, because ship creatures, ship selves, we call them here, live down here. There's an entire village of them not that far away. And he points to the north and he goes, I don't know, 6 or 7 clicks that way. We don't visit. We're not friends. Not that we're antagonistic or anything, simply that they have nothing to offer us and we have nothing to offer them. So what we offer each other is peace.
so let's say that we are successful, as was foretold. Do we like whistle to get you to come, or I mean, what?
Do
how
you
do we
hold up
signal
a
you?
bone and go like this?
How do we
Right, right?
signal you?
Who's a
Um,
good boy?
Oh, we got the boy.
His eyes go dead. He goes, Well, crap. I don't know. The scroll didn't cover it, and it's holy ground. We can't come within miles of it. I don't know. Crap. And he starts to like pull out his own fur. You've broken
Okay,
his
hold on,
brain.
hold on, hold on. So
Rosetta, get her eyes go wide, and she pulls out one of her ceremonial dynamite and goes, "This makes a big light." Essentially, of a firework.
Jacobite, was there a thought in there?
no, that's better.
Okay.
Maybe
He
we'll
goes-
signal you with this.
Okay. Without you doing whatever it is that does, we'll know. Okay, we'll take your word for it.
Just watch in that
Have-
direction for big, colorful lights.
Have somebody watching.
you bet. They leave behind the rope ladder. The mist rolls back up. They wish you the best of luck, and they go, "We will keep your ship safe as close as we can get to it, and we will keep the plants off you. We can guarantee you safe passage to the bottom. After that, the mist is not powerful enough to control the plants down there, so you're on your own. But you will find solid surfaces down there, so you won't have to like hang around on tree branches. There's actually a ground down there.
Excellent.
Is anybody opposed to taking the rope ladder thousands of feet to the bottom?
I mean, Joaquin isn't opposed to using a rope ladder. He's great with climbing and is more comfortable like on the branches and stuff. He's just uncomfortable with going down
At all, or that far?
just in general. Like he's
I
already
see.
at a place where he's uncomfortable. So any further down is going to be worse for him.
Sounds good. You bet. Yeah,
I
how does
just
that- go
assume
ahead.
Konosaib and Ozetta are just like, this is much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really.
Ladders just drop. Why not?
Jeez, usually we gotta climb. This is
Um,
great.
Joaquin, how does that feel? Can your party members see that, or is this all like, I don't know, those people who broods inside like that?
So where I'm normally more of like a greenish grayish color,
Mhm.
I turn a little bit more brown, and it'll go a little bit darker.
Mhm.
But that's like physically, that's all you can really see. The rest is
Okay.
just a mental.
So it's
thing.
not a huge visual representation. He doesn't wear his feelings on his sleeve. Okay, sounds good. Must be nice. I can't help it. Is anybody? I guess I can help it a little bit. Does anybody have? Is everybody going down the ladder to get to the bottom? You bet. You climb for a really long time straight down, hours before you get to the bottom. But when you get to the bottom, it's an actual bottom. People in the Wildsea many people in the Wildsea have never actually seen like just dirt that they couldn't see the end of over there because it wasn't just a piece of land that had been pushed up. You have ground. It looks very much like a forest. You're standing on deep, rich brown loam. It looks very much like the forest in Jacobite's back image, but less, what's what I look for here? Less aggressive. More like the Amazon and the best well-kept yard you've seen in your lives fused together.
Does it have a face though?
It does not have a face. I saw that. Yeah. It does not have a face.
Okay.
You don't see a river, but you do hear the running of water fairly far away from you, northish.
Also the
Um,
direction of the Ironbound town,
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
you're right. Yeah. The destination though, the Druve Gate, he said was like to your leftish, so to your westish. But I mean, up to you. You're down here. Who says you help them? Then again, I suppose the promise of like all the wonders of a previous age, and they don't want them, right?
Yeah. Yep.
like
But
like
the,
zero judgment if you loot the whole place.
yeah,
Like,
Don't think we
Uh,
have big enough pockets.
yeah.
this may take
Anyway.
several trips. We have an MRI machine. We can just bring it up that way.
Right. Yeah, because Nepalese is going to rig it into this giant magnet. Oh, we already did. That's right.
We already did. We already have it. So I think so. You said that we can hear water, but we can't see it yet, right?
Right. The trees, presumably the trees are scrolling up. One,
Okay.
your line of sight, and two, the audio.
Okay. So knowing that we're probably going to head for water and we have an option of go upstream or downstream, and I'm assuming we know which way we want to go. I want to take one of those shiny, sticky marbles they gave us. I'm going to climb
Okay.
back up about 20 feet or so and stick it to the ladder so we can
Okay.
find this thing on the way back.
It's a good call. It's a good plan.
So, I mean, if we're walking by the river, we'll probably be able to see this pinpoint of light and be like, that's where we got to go.
You bet. Those of you who are mushroom people are probably more subject to air, like purity and whatnot. Maybe not subject to, that's the wrong word. Probably more aware of it than somebody with like a set of lungs, since you are like, you're all lung, right? The air here is distinctly different. It's warmer. It has, I don't know if air has like a feel to you, but if it does, it feels a little bit like a heady smells like kind of like marshmallow. It sticks to you a little bit. It's not humid, just the air has this sticky angle to it. I don't know if that's comfortable or not. It isn't for me. Like when you go, like it feels humid even though it's not. There's bright purple pollen that flies all over the place. The trees themselves are the colors you expect them to be, brown, black, right? They go up normal size. The whole place is very lush and it's many colors, but the majority of them are oranges and yellows. Purples and yellows. Purple pollen in the air. Almost all where you would expect to find green like leaves is yellow instead. The whole place is big and loud and bright. Blind people could see it. What now?
For the river?
Yeah, suppose we head towards the river.
Sounds good. You bet.
Keep an eye out for literally anything that moves.
In the red zone.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
infrared or, heat vision stuff as we're moving.
Yes. Collectively as a group, feel free to roll a perception roll. But Paulies, make your roll with advantage. Joaquin, you too.
What does that mean in this?
You roll an extra die.
Hold it up. That's wow. A lot of ones don't cancel sixes out.
Why?
6 and 3 ones.
Rough. They do if you roll 3. I'm just kidding. Oh, that would be vicious.
Yeah, that'd be gross.
Joaquin, what'd you get?
I got a 6 and 3 fours.
Nice. And that is weird that you've essentially rolled the same end result, even though it's anyway. Did anyone else roll anything, bad?
No. 5-2 for me.
Nice.
Double sixes. I don't know what
Nice.
pagan god I sacrificed to.
All of them.
Apparently.
Apparently.
4, 2, 1.
Nice. You bet. So Ozetta, collectively, everybody sees that the forest is as you expect it to be. The loam is soft underneath the feet. The colors are extreme, but there's no predators or anything. The only weirdness is you don't see anything. It sounds like there's creatures out here. You hear the clicking and squeaking of branches and creatures, but you don't see anything. Whatever's in there is making sure you have lots of space. Ozetta, do you have a narrative twist you want to offer up as you march through this forest that probably no Wildseer has ever seen before?
I want something, but I can't think of what to have it. Like I said, I assume since we're like someplace that no one has ever been before, I want to say as we're walking, we find some kind of old relic that can be of any
Okay,
type that
sounds
the
good.
GM would like.
You bet. You're definitely at some version of the Darkness Under Eaves, for sure.
Mhm.
You're at the bottom. Most of the Darkness Under Eaves isn't actually a bottom. In most places, if you fell through, you would just fall through where the core of the planet would be and then just keep going. Because there
That's
is no core of the
horrifying.
planet. Right. So I imagined it like this. The Verdancy explosion, the core of Earth now is just tree roots, right? They went it's kind of like the head of a dandelion when you blow them all off now. There's the little lump in the middle and all the white bits. All those white bits are trees. That core is just like rotted, knotted roots. The Earth, by and large, is not what it was before. So in many places, you can just fall through to the other side. Like digging a hole to China, except you actually can fall through. So you find what looks like it's about this big. It has a little rotating. It's got I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry, I'm having a bummer. It's got numbers around the edges. 12, 1, 2. It's a clock. It's a small pocket watch. But it's bigger than it ought to be. It's like Flava Flav's pocket watch, right? Like
Yeah,
button on the
boy.
top, hinge, right chain. It's a pocket watch, but it's a pocket watch for somebody who is either going to wear it around the neck like some sort of screw up, or their pockets are enormous. It also has no dust on it. It must have been dropped recently.
Okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and grab that and
Did
stick
I
that in
hear
a
a
pack.
yeah, boy?
Yeah, boy.
That's fantastic. When you pick it up and flip it over, when you pick it up, there is what looks like some sort of folder, like an old-fashioned manila folder from an office building, covered in this laminate-looking sticky shit tucked to the back of it.
I would like to take a look at that.
You bet. Do you remind me what languages you read?
I know 6 of them. 7 if you count our normal one. So I know our normal one, Chthonic,
Nice.
Hyven, Brass Tongue, Takatoka, Rakaspit, and Signaling.
You bet. What great names for languages.
I know,
Right.
they're so fantastic.
So you're reading that so it's a good thing you read like regular and Chthonic because it's a strange blend of the two. And it looks like some sort of diagnostic report. Somebody is like, it looks like something that was either delivered, like the kind of thing you hand into a boss. Whether or not it was handed in or not, who knows? Nice. Yeah, it actually looks very much like that.
That one's better.
The
That
edges
one's
of the
better.
watches are like a brushed black color, like brushed gunmetal. But it is about that size. Yeah.
Honestly, this is more fun than actually playing the game for me. It's finding pictures to put back here.
That hurts me, and I love it. Because so
I'm not gonna. Never mind. I was gonna qualify that, but I'm not gonna.
Don't do that. Star and Kano Side, you might not know this because you're not in our other groups, but when I post for them in another table, there's like meme chat going on the whole time. So this is like that, but on a bigger screen. I totally get how come he's having fun. He's like, and now I get to show everybody my memes in real time. Woo!
Yes.
Fastest memes in the West.
Yeah, right. Right. I'm actually expecting you at some point to have a picture of yourself with finger guns shooting pictures out of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, now look what I've done.
To the Photoshop machine.
So the file you're looking at is somebody is talking about how the experiment is going well, but perhaps too well. They should level it off a little bit. And it sounds like this is a follow-up, right? There's like, hey boss, I understand that you want me to push it, but I advise against that. The previous yield was more than we wanted. More than that could be a problem. And there's a little bit of blood on the side of it. The blood is old. It's been dried for who knows how long.
Does it have a title on it that explains like what this experiment might be, or
How familiar are you with preview like names and staff and that sort of thing?
Oh, let's see. I think if I'm remembering right, I think Hyven is supposed to be tied into Preve, or maybe that's Raucous, but let me check the languages quick.
Sounds good.
Because one of them I took because it has something to do with understanding Preview stuff. Come on, give me the list of languages. Of course, I can't find it.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
one of the languages I have has something to do with understanding like the written language of Preview.
Sounds good. You're looking at the word biochemist.
Okay.
Um,
Understanding what that word means, I'm gonna give this to Nepales, figuring that maybe he can understand it better than I can.
yeah.
Okay.
Did we just graduate to chemical warfare?
We may have.
Well,
Or
now, hold
maybe-
on.
Or maybe drug producers.
In Nepal's mind, is there any greater, like, is moving on from fire to literally anything else? Is that a graduation or is it a step in the wrong direction?
It depends. What do they think about it?
The people you blast?
No, them.
Them.
Oh, I see. Like the man. I see.
And just as a detail for people who might be listening, Hyven is the primary written language often found on old pre-verdant or verdant ruins, understood by scholars, antiquarians, and treasure hunters.
You bet.
And it just happens. I do speak Hyven.
Do you? You bet. In Nepal, would you consider yourself to be, intellectually focused on things like chemical reactions?
I mean, maybe not as much as mechanical, but
Okay.
I mean, to get like engines and things working, you have to know a little bit, right?
Okay. So between you and Ozetta, I think you'd be able to add this one up. There's a bunch of like chemical combinations and bits of like not theory, formula written on it, notes in the margins, that sort of thing. It is a formal document. It was typed, not written, but somebody wrote on the side of it with little arrows that say, hey, this is this and this is a bad idea, and there's a line through some of them. Right? You're looking at a analytical breakdown of how to magnify plant growth.
Cool.
So this is how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
The man. Yeah.
Oh God, I gave Nepales the holy grail.
You gave him the key to the super soldier serum.
It was a conspiracy. It is the man.
I mean, I love Captain America, but what an awful thing to pitch to your kids. See, kids, drugs are good for you. They turn you into a superhero. Like, Gambit has the same physical strengths, and he did that through hard work, and kinetic mutation. Hawkeye's just as good, no kinetic mutation. That guy puts in all the work and he catches all the shit, and that ain't fair. That ain't fair in the slightest. Konosai, what do you think?
Sorry, I was taking notes.
That's okay.
I think that's fascinating. It's exactly the kind of thing Kanosai would be looking for.
Oh, I forgot to say, the watch is ticking.
Oh.
Not like a bomb, just, normally.
It
That's
works.
not ominous at all.
I forgot to say the watch works. So the question is, do you want it so bad you would take it from Nepales or just go look for more?
I don't think I'd steal it. I'd probably ask for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess Kanosai would say, hey, can I see that?
But this is evidence of the man.
Man.
Just for a second. I just want to check it out.
We're all the worst.
Hey, but this is evidence of the man.
I can see him like
I'm just gonna say from the other side, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Do I look like I'm married? The toilet seat is up, man.
Sorry.
All right.
Like my wife and I do not fit into stereotypical gender roles in the slightest. However, she did have to remind me to put the toilet seat down for like the first 4 years of our relationship.
I don't know if that's a gender role so much as a mechanic's role, or
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, before I say something bad,
I guess that I will hand it to her very or hand it to, what's your name?
On a side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll hand it to Conasai very begrudgingly.
All right.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
I want that back.
I'm gonna take some time to study it.
You bet. When you touch it, would you make what amounts to a Constitution roll?
Uh-oh.
Sure. Oh, don't know that I have a whole lot that would help me out here, so. Four and a 2.
Nice, you bet. So almost immediately you double in size in both directions.
Oh,
You don't suffer any damage or anything, but you go.
okay.
Shiitake.
I will hand it back.
The difference between a marshmallow when you put it on the plate and a marshmallow right before you take it out of the microwave, right? Like poof.
That didn't happen to the cactus.
It did not happen to the cactus. With focus, you can get that under control and make it shrink back down. Mechanically speaking, you get advantage to anything. You're wide enough to be covered for your own friends if damage is something you're willing to take. And you also gain an advantage to any roll that would require you to be either strong or heavy while
Okay.
you're, big.
All right. Well, I am more tuned to being nimble, so I'm going to focus on being back to being small.
You bet. It takes, a couple of seconds of like calm breathing and you're back to normal. I wasn't going to just run off the end of the earth mechanically with somebody else's character. I wasn't going to, no. You hand it back to Nepalese, nothing happens, right? You don't change back by handing it back and he doesn't mutate when you hand it to him. When you shift, you bump into a couple of the branches. You don't suffer attacks or anything, but you do crack one of them. And in where the crack had been, which is say in the tree, you see what looks like the tiniest bit of a human face.
Oh, creepy.
Alive or dead?
Oh, definitely dead. Dead a long
Okay.
time. And I don't mean like a human face, like a carved out of wood in the tree. I mean like a tree grew around a human,
Okay.
Lovely.
like human flesh inside of the tree.
That's horrifying. Can I
I mean, you are
break
at the
some-
bottom,
can I break some branches of the other trees and see what I find?
I feel like that's terrifying. I'm gonna look for more.
Yeah.
You
it.
bet. Do it. You bet. You run around, you break some branches, you find a lot of humans. More than a couple. There's one, there's another. As you break, because you're not really sure where the faces are going to come up. They don't always come up at eye level. Some of them are in the ground, some of them are higher up. So you end up with seeing bits of the human that aren't just their face, right? And you end up seeing that some of them are in long white coats that go to their ankles. Some of them have nameplates, nice traditional old world names like John and Jill and Jack and that sort of thing. They definitely, these clothes are not clean anymore, right? But they definitely look like the kind of white jacket that like doctors or scientists would wear.
So as Kanasai is doing this, Joaquin's just gonna be like ever vigilant, just kind of looking around at all the plants, making sure that there's not anything that we've angered.
You bet.
Because this isn't terrifying at all.
Like, what are you, paranoid?
So Ozetta is Ketra.
Mhm.
And their origin is they are the humans that got left in the underside when all of this happened, and the the Krezerin like corrupted them into
Yeah,
these
right.
jelly people.
Yeah,
Would
right.
this be something she'd know anything about?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Roll for it, but do so at advantage
Okay.
because it's not exactly a common story.
Okay, so probably just those two.
I can't read.
3.
You know?
Well, I'm gonna go. Oh wait, you said advantage, so I get an extra one, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I rolled 3, 2, 1, and that extra one was a 6.
Nice.
So-
Nice, you bet. So the red place that the Druve mentioned has got to be the Scarlet Forest. The Ketra are in a unique position to be aware of the truth of that story. The occasional Wildseer tells a story of like a wood thicket that's alive and angry. And while that's technically true, it's much worse than that. In the pre-V times, there was magic much like there is in how do I put this, in a D&D campaign.
Okay.
And prior to and during that period, there were things like druids and fighters. And a druid got sick of nature being stepped all over. And druids come and go, but they also die. And nature needed, like, he thought it was only fair that nature be able to defend itself. So he used a series of complicated spells in alchemy to essentially make xenophobic, really aggressive nature. It worked. It decided that killing things that weren't plants that came within the zone was a good idea. He's not a plant. Like it killed him too.
Stupid, dirty hippie.
Yeah, right. Don't hug trees. Right. That's the moral of the story. Murder every. No, that's not. That's not equivalent retribution. So fast forward to the present. There's a collective of trees down here that are actively alive and xenophobic and will absolutely kill you if you get too close to them. However, they do have one notice. This is the part that the Ketra know that nobody else does. They cannot leave the specific portion that they're in. Like there's a specific portion of this underforest that they are stuck in. They can't go any further than it. If they shoot their like seeds or saplings or whatever, they won't go beyond this invisible barrier. And any other life form can. This means two things. Plants, period, can't cross through the bubble. So Kanosaib, Nepales, and Joaquin have a problem if they cross through that invisible barrier. They are plants. There is no guarantee that it will work on Kanosaib and Joaquin, but if Nepales walks in there, he'll be stuck. Maybe forever, because no one's ever figured out how the bubble worked. And the only dude who could really tell you, dead for a really long time. But he was a brilliant scientist and alchemist. Some Ketra believe he's responsible for the verdancy. Most people believe that happened like nature just did it. But if there was a catalyst for that, he could have been it. His research materials were never found.
I think we just did. I will convey this whole story to the group.
Speaking of Joaquin, with your ever vigilant eyes, you start to notice that there are thorns that weren't there on branches before that are sort of rolling along them like ants on a branch, or more aptly, bugs under people's skin in the Mummy movie.
I'm definitely going to point that out to everybody.
They're red.
Isn't that what they said the red zone had in it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Said watch the thorns and
Stay by the river. Yeah.
stay by the river. So let's find that river. Which
To the damn river.
which way do we hear the rolling of water?
To the north of your location.
Let's go.
Let's have everybody roll for that, and then we'll take the 15-minute break, and I'll see everybody after that.
Okay. So
Don't mind me.
I got double fives and a couple other things.
Nice. You bet.
I
Say that
got
one more.
542.
You got a 542. You got a user highest number was a 5. Oh, was that did you also get a 5?
Yes.
You bet.
Double fives for me.
Sounds good. Nepales, was that a 6?
663.
Oh, okay. 6 and a twist. So you got a 5 and a twist. Joaquin, what did you get?
5443.
Nice. You bet. So 5 and a twist. Jacob, what'd you get?
422.
Oh, good. So nobody rolled a 3 or less. Good. Awesome. You bet. So you all take off towards the river. You trip and fall a little bit. The vines perforate your backs. Feel free to like damage a track or something on the back of you. But those of you with narrative twists, feel free to use those or not. Up to you.
I'm good.
I will actually grab Jacobite and kind of pull him along.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
I guess I'm just gonna use my twist to just grab one of the name tags because I just have a feeling like Ozetta is a little bit of a klepto.
I see. You bet. Um, so you make it to the river. The river is like a pre-V river. Pre-V river. It's blue. It's rapid. It's pure water. Most people in the Wildsea don't ever see that directly. Most water in the Wildsea is shuttled down long supply chains. So like I hand it to him and he handed it to you and blah, 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 blah. Most people have never actually seen a river. Though the concept of fresh water is not super rare. When you get to the river, as soon as you're within a couple of feet of it, like you can feel its ambient moisture. The plants don't come any closer. They try. The thorns perforate the air right in front of you. And they stop. They look like they hit a wall that you can't see, and they plop onto the ground. You have, assuming that barrier doesn't have a gap in it somewhere, you have like a 3-foot walking space between the edge of the river and where the plants can get you. As you move down that, they continue to perforate that space. There is no pause in the thorns being thrown at you. Those thorns are as big as any one of my fingers.
Let's not go in there
Mm-mm.
at all.
And I will see everybody in 15.
Sounds
Beautiful.
good.
Now everybody can see you. Okay, you happy now? He's not spoiled at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Stop. What are you doing? Actually, I think I know what's wrong with him tonight is he, you know, they know that weird things are about to happen. Like he acted weird when Harvey was coming too, so.
Yeah.
At least this time it's just a crap ton of rain.
Yeah, well, that's all really Harvey was too. But
Yeah, that's true.
And he acted weird in February. He wasn't about that either.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you had him now?
How old are you? Like 5, 6? Something like that. My gosh. I guess you'd be about 5. You were just a baby whenever you turned up. Oh, you're putting that crack on screen for everybody. I see.
Need to go get a TV tray or something to sit. My desk is too small right now. I don't have any space to put anything.
More fun than the game, he says. Turn your boots to gold, he says. Now I got these concrete shoes. All right, I was reminded of that level in, I think it's Spyro 2. Ugh. If you never played that, there's this really obnoxious level where you have to babysit this alchemist across, like from one point to another, while he comes to turn one of your friend's shoes back into actual shoes.
Yeah.
And it's obnoxious because you can't beat the enemies, and the alchemist for some reason just wants to like wander around amongst certain death, not like, you know, beeline or nothing. That level's obnoxious as hell.
So
I'm gonna say
all
that
follow
all-
quests.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Are
say all
obnoxious as hell. Yeah.
all escort quests in any game
So
annoy the crap out of me.
So I
Yeah.
really appreciated oh god damn, what's it called? Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, PS3 and computer game, which is basically the plot of The Last of Us a few years before The Last of Us. And I loved it, but it's absolutely a giant follow quest, which is to say the writing is that good. I dealt with it anyway. And that was the first ending in a long time where I was like, like, holy crap, that was cool. You play this big guy, calls himself Monkey. It's loosely, and I do mean loosely, based on Odyssey to the West. So you play a Goku who is just like the tiniest shred like Goku. He's got a battle staff that gets larger, and he has a metal disc that lets him fly in some places and not in others. He can also climb like whatever, and he's a very impressive fighter. And the whole premise of the game is that you have this collar, this like bandana thing you put on your head, and this teenage girl, who is not all she appears to be, has essentially forced you into escorting her to such and such location far away. Mechanically speaking, this means if she dies, you die. If you get too far apart from each other, you die. Like it's a huge pain in the ass, and it's totally worth it anyway. And it only felt like that kind of game a couple of times. Like there's a period where the level design just doesn't work for it. You have to like swim around these giant piles of garbage, and several of them are large enough that if she goes one way and you go the other, you will die because the distance is too far. Anyway, most of the time it's actually a really brilliant game. But yeah, as a rule, like escort quests, pass. Like,
Yeah, that's like the one thing that I'm gonna ask that we never have to do in here.
I hadn't planned on it.
Detest escort quests.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I will say that Spider-Man on the PS4 had a forced stealth level in a game that it does not have stealth levels in it as a whole that I love to pieces so much that I didn't even notice it was a forced stealth level until it was over. And then I was like, huh, apparently all you need is a push the button summon Spider-Man to make those cool. How about it? Like, that was actually really great. I love that level. I look forward to that whenever I replay the game. You play Mary Jane in this giant like expo where everybody's being held like hostage, lots of guys with guns. And then you can like move and distract them, and then you push the button and Spider-Man webs down from the ceiling and scoops them up, and it's really cool. Anyway, so here you are in the forest being pursued by things with thorns. Amber, did you get my second text message? There were two there.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Now what? You're in this, space. You're by the river. You're as safe as you can get, accompanied by the continuing rattling rain sound of thorns hitting an invisible barrier.
Is there anything in the water?
Not that you can see. And that wasn't necessarily a setup. I mean, the water, you can see the dirt, right? It's not real deep.
Wait a minute. So we can hear thorns hitting an invisible barrier.
Yes. They're right next to you, maybe 3 feet.
Oh boy, I'm going to put my hand out.
What?
I'm going to put my hand out and try to touch this barrier.
You bet. When you touch it, right, there's the tiniest little of like acid burn, but you touch it all the same.
Well, shit.
What?
I'm stuck inside this thing, right?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you touched it and it burned you.
Okay.
Right, but you did touch it. Now, I guess I'm confused. Do you touch the barrier or do you attempt to push through the barrier?
I think
Since to push through it, I'm just like,
That's an important distinction.
we're on the outside of the barrier, is what he's saying. I don't think we're inside. Yeah, because if we were inside, the thorns would be hitting us.
Right.
I'm with you now. Got it. Clarified. We're good.
That does suggest that you just went through it, though, doesn't it? If you were on one side of it and now you're not, that means you went through it.
Yeah, because the thorns were coming at us and now they're not.
Yes,
That's
they
true.
hit you in the back in a couple of places. So, yeah.
And all of our plant people were successfully able to get through that barrier to the safe side, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This way. Going back, that may be a problem.
Could be. Who knows? The river runs north from where you are now. You can see it from here. It winds a little bit, but the water doesn't like behave strangely. It moves north at a fairly decent clip. The kind of thing that you're just not gonna, if you want to stand in it, you're not gonna whisk away. But like a water boat, like a little paper boat, gone.
And then we have a general idea of which direction we need to go to get to this.
Yes, from where you are here, the Ironbound village should not be that far away. If you go due north, if you follow the river, he made it sound like if you followed the river, it would go west eventually, which will take you to the gate. Up to you. You could also go south. He didn't, I mean, you don't necessarily have like a quest icon down there, but you do what you want, player agency and all of that.
Well, Joaquin's going to ask Jack about how he feels about going to this Ironbound place. Like, is he even interested?
I would like to.
Then let's do that.
Okay.
Since
We
it's
can
not
make
too
a
far
stop
out of
at
the way.
Yeah, we can make a stop and see what it's about, and then go from there.
Absolutely.
Or we could stick our heads into something and get stung.
Yeah. You bet.
It'd be fun either way.
Yeah, right. So north it is, huh? Not the kind of thing you roll for. The question, this may or may not be an important question. Do you walk? Oh my God! Do you walk next to the river or step in it?
I'm
Next
probably not gonna step
to
in it.
Yeah.
Like how safe does that barrier make you feel?
I mean, it's far enough away. I feel like if we haven't really seen rivers before, we might be slightly wary of that.
That's fair. You bet.
Yeah, Joaquin is as dead center of the path as he possibly can because he's like super freaked out both by the river and what's going on with all the thorns and stuff.
Sounds good. You bet. You march on north. Go ahead, Nepali. What?
Stops fire. Nepali
I don't want to get wet. I can't burn anything if I'm wet. So you march north, right? The forest of the plants eventually stop shooting at you. You can still see them bristling at you, but you eventually get out of range. You eventually get to the part where you don't see any more red thorns. That's a good 45 minutes. When was the last time you ate? Is anybody hungry?
I can eat.
You climb down for hours, right? You
Yeah.
walk forward. I mean, when was the last time you ate? I've been hosting for an hour and a half and I'm eating. Like, like
I suppose we probably would stop to eat at some point.
So my question is, what do the gal eat?
I have no idea.
Hook yourself onto a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of siphon the
Yeah.
parasite. I mean,
Fun guys and gals. And
Well, I think my
Yeah, I'm not
Zoom
sure
is
how I-
frozen. So
I'm not
give
sure
me
I
one
make
second.
that joke on a gender neutral level.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
we can
I was
hear
trying to
you.
think
Your
of something, but
Okay.
There's got to be a way.
yeah, we
I'm
can
gonna
hear you.
try-
Your screen's just frozen.
All right, I'm
Oh,
gonna
it
try to
is?
restart
Good on
Zoom.
this side. Yeah, sure. Takes a second. You bet. Speaking of, I feel bad. I made a joke earlier about like that blind people could see bright colors, and it occurs to me that may have been a bit insensitive, and I didn't mean it like that at all. So in the likelihood that somebody knows somebody like who's blind, and I just pushed them the wrong way, I didn't mean that. My bad.
I've worked in construction for many years,
Uh-huh.
managing construction, doing similar things to what Star does. So people ask me, do you want to go by Ed or Edward? And I say, I don't care. Either one's great. I've been called a whole lot worse.
Yeah, right. Ed's not so bad.
It's
There you go.
very hard to offend me, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what Ironbound eat, or if we do eat.
I'm not sure you do eat. Up to you.
I don't.
Like, wouldn't
Like,
this just sun?
say that one more time.
Wouldn't cactus just want to be in the sun every so often?
Yeah, I mean, cacti. I think it's cacti. Probably not cactipoda. Cacti drink their plants, so water is probably something they want. Just maybe not every day.
Yeah. So
You know,
maybe
platypoda, octopoda, cactipoda. No, that's not right.
Maybe he's got some Miracle Grow rations in his
Yeah.
pack.
yeah, we'll go with that. I like it.
So I'd like to think
Heart
that
attack.
I'd like to think that the gal basically like just as we're walking on the trees and
Mhm.
branches and stuff like that, especially because like with mine in particular, like Joaquin, his feet kind of are tendrils that attach themselves into the tree as he's walking. That's how he kind of moves. I would like to think that every time he's got his feet planted,
You
Then-
sip a little.
yeah, he's just taking a little bit of nutrients, just enough to get him through.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'm reminded of the Andalites from the Animorph books.
Yeah.
They were horse people, sort of, that ate with little little mouths on their feet, because they didn't have mouths up here. I remember when they first encounter humans that eat like with their face, and they're like,
Mhm. Yeah.
unlike
So-
just for all. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if he would get nutrients and stuff from the soil here,
Mhm.
but I mean that could be a possibility.
I'm all for it. I was actually thinking that you get like more. Like the food here is as pure as it can be, right? It's pure EV food for the most part.
So I'd kind of like to, I'd like the idea of Joaquin. Like he's obviously freaked out about being so low on the ground right now. He doesn't like this at all. But I like the idea of him eventually coming around to it, based off of the fact that he actually probably feels better down here than he does up in the treetops.
Mhm.
Just the general environment, the temperature, the humidity, everything like seems to be working better for him.
Okay, cool beans.
It's more of like a mental thing at first that he's got to work through.
So he's got to like get over it and yeah, right. I'm reminded of Destroy All Humans. If you've never played that one, you should. It's a blast. It's hilarious.
Mhm.
And there's a period where remember when he discovers that the cows eat? And he goes, wait, they eat with their mouths? Ugh.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be violently ill. Like, wait, how do you eat? You have a mouth hole. Like, but now hold on. When the Andalite said that, I was curious because they don't have a mouth, but then they covered it. They do. They have 4 little mouths. He never gets around to it. Like, well, then again, it's not the kind of show where you learn anything about the. Ozetta, it is pouring where you are.
Yeah, like all of a sudden it's like we were supposed to get half an inch of rain. I think we've gotten it in the past 3 minutes.
Half an inch. That's adorable.
I know, but I mean, it's the most we've gotten this year. So
Did I ever tell you about my friend Scott and his in the weather report?
No.
So my friend Scott lives in Ohio. He's a nice guy. He lives in Chicago. Nice guy. And he's brilliant. The world's a better place because Scott's in it. I love him to pieces. However, like one day he's doing this video on like from his, I think he's in his car. I don't know. He's got like a scarf that tucks up to here, right? It's a Doctor Who scarf. It's cool. And he's talking about the weather and how like it's so bad and they've wrapped up the sidewalks and the public library has been closed for the first time. Columbus, Ohio, excuse me, not Chicago. They've rolled up the sidewalks. The library's closed for the first time in like forever. The UPS guys are delivering, right? How it's cold. And after like 5 minutes, he'd be like, well, we just got the 1 degree and it's cold. Hey, whoa, Scott, stop. At this very moment, it is -10 where I live, and I shoveled my driveway in Crocs and underpants like a grown-up. If your UPS guy didn't come, that's because he's a wimp. That doesn't mean like I got so mad. Like, shut up.
I'm Minnesotan. I'm going, that's cute. Did you have an eye freeze warning yet? We still went to work.
The hell's an eye freeze warning? I don't watch the news. Is that a
So
thing?
in our state, occasionally we will get to negative temperatures where we will get an eye freeze warning. Meaning
Okay.
if you're outside for more than 5 minutes, your eyes will freeze.
Oh, eye.
Yeah,
I
like
think
your
like
eyes.
iPod.
No,
like,
so like your eyes will freeze. So they'll close school
Ugh.
because the kids can't wait for the bus and things like
Oh,
that.
no.
So they will say, we have an eye freeze warning. Don't
how
be
cold
outside
is
for
that?
I think it's -30.
Yeah, I don't think if we get that, it doesn't happen often.
-25, something like that.
-12, -8, like negative numbers in winter is no big deal here. It happens all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It happens like 9 months out of the year. Like it's no big deal.
Yep.
But I don't think I've ever been told that Jay, don't go outside because your eyeballs will.
But every
freeze.
once in a while we cross over from it's negative to we're in that negative now.
Wow.
So
I love Scott. Go ahead.
I prefer the cold weather
Same.
personally, but there's a point where it's like too much, and that's too much for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
When the polar vortex came, we hit 100 days under 0.
Wow.
And I think
We're
the lowest
usually
we
the-
got was -50.
We're
One day
usually
I'm
the
out-
other way. We're usually like 100 days over 100.
100.
Yeah, I
yeah.
bet.
One day I'm out
But-
shoveling my driveway.
February.
What about February?
Oh, February was the bad times.
Well, I was gonna say, but where I lived in West Texas, it got down to single digits all the time. So, there's a point where cold is just cold.
Yeah, right.
Honestly,
Um,
the coldest I've ever been, the coldest I've ever felt. Let me say that the coldest I've ever felt was in the Houston area. It was so incredibly humid, and I knew that humidity affects heat. I did not realize it also affects cold.
Yeah.
And I was inspecting bridges. We were going from, we had probably 40 bridges or so to do in a few days. And it was in the mid 60s. This was December. And then I knew a cold front was coming through. So everybody, we both brought jackets, and it hit, and it was about 30 degrees, and the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour, and the humidity was about 150%. And I thought I was going to die.
Oh.
And I used to work outside in single digits in West Texas all the time, but there's no humidity there. So I was like, it's not
Yeah,
bad.
it's completely different. Yeah.
PSA for anybody who is joining us on YouTube right now. We have a player
Yes.
that is trying to fix computer. That is why we
Oh.
are bullshitting about the
Yeah, I was
weather right
about to get
now.
into that.
So if you are joining us, we will keep playing. We are just waiting for someone with technical difficulties.
She said we could play without her, and I'm like, I don't want to.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I think the one that surprises people the most is I was talking with somebody on one of the coasts and like, oh, it snows all the time. Like, no, it's too cold to snow. What do you mean it's too cold to snow? Well, at some point, it is too cold for snow to form.
Yeah.
Ergo, we don't get snow. We just freeze to death.
Yeah. There's a sweet spot.
There is.
Yeah, one day I'm out shoveling my driveway. So I'm a big guy, right? And our driveway is wide enough that can hold 2 cars, but we only have one. So I don't use a damn shovel. I use a big sheet of particle board and just tilt it at an angle and push.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to be strong sometimes. So I just move all this. It's much faster. Not all the time. I'm not He-Man. Sometimes the snow is like filled with rain or whatever. And I just, damn it, then I need to use a shovel. But anyway, I'm out there shoveling my driveway, right? And my next door neighbor goes, Jay, are you in flip-flops? I went, yeah, I didn't feel like putting my shoes on. It's my day off, fella. I'm not, no. Socks on my day off? No, you piss right off. And he goes, but you're outside. Yes. Like, where are you going with this? Then he says, you're out shoveling your driveway. Holy, aren't you cold? And I went,
No.
I mean, I was when I stepped outside, but then I started shoveling snow. So no, I don't put pants on until it's -10. He goes, Jay, it is -10. I went, I stand corrected, -11, and I can't shovel. Like,
Shoveling snow is hard work. I mean, you go like you bundle up, you put on all this stuff, and halfway through, you're like, okay, there was the hat, coat's
Yep.
gone.
right? Like, screw that noise.
It makes
Besides-
me want to, just the thought of having to do it. If I ever lived in a place like that, I would definitely buy one of Elon Musk's portable flamethrowers. Do it that way.
Yeah, man.
And then you end up with sheet of ice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So here's a wonderful thing that I didn't know about until fairly recently. ADHD, part of that is controllable by intense blasts of cold to your system. So when your body gets really, really cold, your body doesn't know that's going to end. So your muscle, like all the blood in your body will constrict around your organs as the best it can in order to preserve what it perceives to be, in order to preserve you, because it is a perceived threat against your life, and your body will not let you hurt yourself to a certain point. And with that comes a chemical shift that allows, at least in my experience, better control over one's ADHD impulses. So I take cold as shit showers, and I shovel my snow in my shorts. And it worked out really well. Also, Ozetta probably knows this, but those of you who don't have, negative temperatures on the regular probably are unaware of what I like to call deep ice that has melted and then refrozen and then melted and then refrozen. And now it's armor. I don't know how that works. Like it's a different color. It's got this cloudy shit in it, and all of a sudden it's friggin' invincible. I don't know what that is. It's tough as nails.
We get that possibly as much as y'all do relative to the amount of snow that you get, because we generally hover, sometimes it'll be 20s teens for a while, but normally at some point it gets over the freezing point and then
dips back down,
melts
again.
and refreezes. Yeah, it does. I'm with you.
I don't know what that is. It's so I used to work at Home Depot, they have like a chipper, right? Because sometimes the ice and the snow come before the we sell fences season is over, so they have that crap outside in the snow. So they want you to go like clean it up and look all pretty and crap. And it's just eventually, because of the one I worked at, where that location is, when it melts, it leaks out into places where some of the vehicles go by, and it's a safety concern. We're going to take care of it.
Sure.
And the chipper they give me is like company issue, which means it's shit, right? like it's pure crap. And I'm having a hell of a time with it. And a guy I worked with says, "Hey, you want to use an actual chipper?" I said, "This is made out of metal." He goes, "Yeah, but..." Right. And I'm like, all right, fine. And we go inside, and he comes from behind the counter and he goes, "This is my chipper. If you break it, I will break you. If it's not there in the morning, I will hurt you. But I like you, and I'm willing to trust you with this one time." And I was like, okay. And I go outside, and it's better. Razorback is a great brand. And I'm going like this, and I go, "You know what? This is taking too long." And I swing it above my head like an axe and come down on it a bunch of times. Like much better. I'm throwing ice chunks everywhere. Eventually, I noticed that I have warped it, so it's like this now.
Oops.
He's gonna kill me. So I turned it around and kept going. Worked so far.
Yeah.
Someday he's gonna see this video and appear in my home.
The one we always run into is people from states who don't get the snow come, and then first of all, they don't know how to drive in it, which I don't blame them for that. Like, that's just a skill that you just don't get. But they come and they break icicles off of rooftops and start to eat it. And they don't understand why we freak out about that.
Who eats icicles in the first place?
I mean,
also, what the hell is a rough top? Maybe
rooftop.
we call rooftop. Okay,
Rooftop.
yeah,
Sorry,
don't do that.
I'm Minnesotan. We say it rooftop. But they're like, why? We're like, it's water that comes off a roof. And where do you think birds poop?
Yeah, right. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't eat icicles, folks.
That's
like-
nasty.
It's like people around here that like to fish out of, well, or I say around here in the West Texas area where we have playa lakes. Playa lakes are natural low spots where water tends to go, because up in the Lubbock area, it's a gigantic flat plate. It's called the cap. But there's just natural low spots where water just goes to. Those are
Okay.
called playa lakes. People like to go fishing in playa lakes and then eat the fish that's in there. It's a natural low spot, so you're getting runoff from lawn chemicals, runoff from dog shit. There's a lot of Canadian geese there, so you're getting a
Canada goose.
lot of Canada goose shit. I mean, in the water, I know it's a fish but
still
it's the water the fish is in. Come on.
Canada gooses, right? National treasure.
Canada goose is national treasure.
I love that episode. I love that they had that kind of time.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
to be like, we're gonna make your life a living hell until you leave the hell alone the Canada
Yep.
gooses. Like,
I appreciate that kind of commitment to a cause. Very
Have you-
much so.
have you ever seen the Mighty Ducks cartoon?
It's a cartoon.
No.
Of okay, so Mike might back me up on this. Did they not?
They were
commit
actual
that?
ducks.
You're right. They were actual
okay.
anthropomorphic. So at during the day, right, hockey playing space ducks. At night, superhero space ducks. Like, and they commit to that gag so hard that show is so much better than it should be. Like it does
Did you
not
ever
work.
see the crossover they did with Darkwing Duck?
No.
That is beautiful.
pretty
Did
Oh
they
my
get
God.
dangerous?
Yes.
I hope so.
That's amazing.
It's such a good show. That theme is kicking. The show is great. And Grin is my favorite, like, tropey monk, big, strong guy character ever.
Yep.
Oh,
Um,
I've
he
never
plays-
seen this.
Oh, it's brilliant, brilliant shit. And it's one of those shows that if I wrote it down all on paper, you'd be like, that's pure shit. But then you watch it and you're like, wow.
This
I don't
is
know how they-
magic.
It's magic. I don't know how they did it. And I think a large part of that is commitment.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be ridiculous, carry that all the way to the end of
Absolutely.
the road, right? Like,
I mean,
They come
That's-
from Puck World, where hockey is their national sport. Puck World is shaped like a puck, by the way. Like it's
Of
and
course.
Tim Curry plays a giant dragon man from a collection of people called the
That's on
Saurians.
par.
It's Tim Curry as a dragon man. What more
That's
do you
on
need
par.
to have? Oh, it's pure evil too. What more do you
Is it-
need?
Is it Trogdor?
Trogdor.
What the hell is his name? Draconis.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Sorry, you
Lord
said
Draconis.
Dragon Man, and that's all I could think of. Was
He was a
Trogdor.
man. He was a
was a
dragon
dragon.
man.
That show
His
is
name was
brilliant.
Trogdor. So yeah, to your commitment comment, there you go.
I see that.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
say.
There's a period where Grin is like those thugs attack the Mighty Ducks, like when they're getting down, like getting ready to go play, right? And these guys are going to rough them up before the match. We'll have a better time. And Grin is this massive duck, and he walks up to them and goes, "You wouldn't want to harsh my inner Zen, now would you?" And just flicks one of them through a building. Like, I love that guy. Like,
I love it.
it's
You came back
fantastic.
in a fantastic time, Amber.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't want to harsh my mellow now, would you? Brilliant shit.
Okay, so where were we?
You are headed north on the river.
That's right. Okay.
There we go. He's voiced by Brad Garrett, who you might know from a series of TV shows.
Oh, Raymond.
Yeah, that's him. And now he is one with the true way of hockey. Brilliant. So yes, you're in the river. The thorn plants have stopped shooting at you because you're outside of range. I mean, presumably, right? You want to check the bubble and see if it's still there, you can, but presumably they've stopped shooting you because you're out of range. The poly's what?
Allegedly.
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 That's
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's right. To be fair.
To be
To be
fair.
fair.
So we've taken a short break as well, right? Just to kind of
Yeah, I
eat
assume
if
that
we
you.
eat and recoup if we don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So did we settle on whether or not Ironbound to eat?
You know, I
I think we decided on no.
don't think we do.
Like you don't have a digestive system.
Yeah.
I've got a whiskey barrel for a damn torso. So
So he
You
fills
feast
it
on the
up and he's
souls
good
that
to
make
go.
yeah.
What was that?
I said you feast on the souls that make up your life form.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's
Kinda-
dark.
Yeah, it's creepy as shit.
Kanosai, we decided while you were gone that Gal, we get our nutrients as we kind of walk you know how our feet kind of like dig into whatever we're walking on. So whether it's a tree or down here, the soil, we just kind of sip nutrients as we go. So that's how we take care of that.
Okay, so we don't wear shoes. Got it.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, maybe you do, but you got to take
I mean,
them
you
off
can if you
sometimes.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wear shoes and then just take them off when you're hungry.
Can you also eat through your hands? That's a legitimate question. I wasn't being funny.
I would
Can you-
assume that any appendage, like we could do that. It's just more convenient because the feet are always on the ground.
Yeah, right. All right. Sounds good. You there, Cactus Man, what do you eat?
I think we decided just mostly water and sun.
Sun and okay, sounds good.
Miracle
Rosetta,
Grow Hardtack.
do you have a digestive system and all that goo somewhere?
I don't think so. Based on the pictures I'm looking at, it looks like we are just goo people. So I assume I eat like a gelatinous ooze and it just kind of sits in there and dissolves.
I see. See, I was picturing more like the Venom suit. It feeds on chemical reactions from the people it sits on. But goose is good. You just kind of wrap around a thing and kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I assume I eat it. It just kind of just sits in there.
Does that mean like you have? Is there anything you don't digest? You have like skull? Is it like a gelatinous cube? You got like little bits of dagger and skulls and shit in there.
Well, I guess like since I like keep my body formed by putting driftwood into me or metal, or I think another
Ew.
option was
Are you about to
bones.
Yeah, are you about
Like-
to say your skeleton is made out of the things you ate? That's creepy as shit.
I mean, it's made of driftwood, so it's like it doesn't dissolve everything. I'm assuming it's like a gelatinous ooze. It's like organic matter.
That's
dissolves
creepy as
everything
shit.
else
I love it. No, it's a gelatinous cube person. That's it.
I didn't realize how terrifying this character was until
Oh
we
yeah,
started
but the
actually
spider
explaining
people, why
her.
are you all
Because they're
wrong?
made of spiders. That's creepy.
I told
Uh,
my boyfriend about the spider people, and he's like, "That is what I would play." He loves the spider people.
Good for him.
For anybody listening on YouTube, they're called the Celicrae. And
Yeah,
their
I was
explanation
pronouncing
is
them Zelicrae, yeah.
spider colonies wrapped in a humanoid-esque skin, thousands of tiny arachnids, minds threaded like beads in a string to produce a full, rich sentience. It's a skin bag full of spiders. So-
Anybody who's read the Spider-Man Spider-Verse comic books might be familiar with a Spider-Man who is that, which is creepy as shit. Like outfit and everything. Ugh.
This is my nightmare.
And I can see how come they didn't put that particular Spider-Man in the Spider Universe movie. I totally get it. Like
That's a
anyway,
little far.
here you are in this stream. We decided. I know you said we could play without you, but we were like, pass. So you're still in the same spot you were in.
All right, great.
Here you are in the river. Everybody takes, a rest and eats or doesn't eat if they don't eat, right? Do you move on from there? Those of you that aren't eating, I mean, how long are we resting for? 5 minutes, 20, an hour? Oh, pardon me.
15 to 20.
15,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
15,
was gonna
20?
say half an hour, but yeah, 15 to 20 is good.
Sounds
Take a
good.
good breather.
While those of you who aren't eating are waiting for other people to eat, what is it that you do? What's your downtime look like there, Ironbound? I just kind of sip on the souls of the.
I smoke a pipe as per
Of course.
usual.
Okay, just checking. You bet. Do you have the prop? Or yeah, he's gonna get it. Does anybody else have anything else they do during downtime other than eat and, I for some reason the idea of a man made of wood smoking a pipe just sounds like a terrible idea. Like it does. It just sounds like but it's your crazy character.
He's also
Well,
shooting fire at people.
Yeah, I mean, the fire's here, not here. So
Yeah, but people make mistakes. You're on a team with a guy who blew a wall off the side of a building.
Allegedly.
Yep.
Not allegedly, it happened. I was there.
At least there wasn't an ostrich involved.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, it had to be a sick ostrich, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's foul. Yeah,
So,
pardon
so
me.
how long does it take for us to get to the Ironbound city or
From
colony? or
here,
whatever it
you
is?
walk. Once you finish your break, you walk for another hour or so, and you start to see. So you see it way before you're in it. The river runs into a large still basin, and there are large pumps coming out of it that roll into walls that go up maybe 20 feet, maybe a little bit less. The whole thing looks like it's made out of bits of ship that have been turned on their side and turned into walls. They look pretty dense. People have gone out of the way to get the metal plating bits, right? There are a couple of towers that go up higher than that inside the town. You are confident that if you get any closer than this, if there are people in those towers, they will see you. The forest completely fades away. You're standing on a lush green hill of a loam. It's not like grass that wraps around this big water basin. Pond is too small, ocean is too big, like a healthy sized lake. There is a town from the size of it. I mean, you can hold thousands of people in there. The canopy and the trees and stuff are still all above you, right? The branches come out far enough that even though there aren't any trees near you, you still don't get any sunlight. There's a huge gate that those towers end up on either side of. You're probably not in sight right now, but if somebody in those towers has sight like you do, you will believe you're getting closer. Now what?
I mean, I would suggest that Jacobite lead us at this point.
Yeah, my assumption was that I was walking in front the whole time. So
I see.
yeah,
What, we just march up to the door? What's the plan?
I'll go ahead. I don't know if anybody wants to come with me or not, but I'll go
Oh,
ahead.
You bet. Once you kind of walk around the edge of the basin, clearly in view of the giant city, right? You see 2 ironbound, one each pop out of the kind of hang their heads out of the top of each tower. One of them looks like he was made out of something much lighter and faster than what you're made out of. There's no whiskey barrel. It's more like a couple of slats of 2x4s wrapped in metal. He looks like a stick person. But he waves you in, smiles and points at the gate and yells at the other one who is much wider than you and nowhere near as tall. Like somebody took a bread box, stretched it, and then slept it on its side. Right.
Get off the stove.
And he goes, yeah. And the gate, he grabs a bar and the 2 of them lift the gate up. And when it opens up, you see hundreds, maybe thousands of ironbound of different shapes and sizes moving about in what looks very much like your average town. Not all the buildings there look like they're made out of ship. Most of them don't look like that. Most of them are brick, several stories high, 2 or 3 tops. Picture like an old New York brownstone. You're getting close. There's a whole bunch of them. And the people welcome you in. When I say you, I mean just you. When
What
the rest of you,
about the rest of us?
when the rest of you get to the gate, they just immediately let go and the gate slams down with you outside. They come down off the walls, right? And they approach Jacobite and they go, you're being followed, right?
Yeah, they're with me. They're my friends.
What?
Yeah, they're my friends. They like our kind.
That's absurd. Nobody likes our kind.
They do.
All right, look. And he gets really upset and he goes, look, the law of the city says that ironbound rights come first. And if you vouch for them, I have to let them in, but I am not pleased about it. They even twitch and I will have them killed. And the gate
Okay.
opens up and they motion you inside very begrudgingly. They are super cranky to let you inside. They don't spit when you pass, but they stop just short of that.
I will quickly turn to them and say, don't do anything wrong. And I look
Right,
very-
because
I
they
look
know all
very-
of the customs of the city.
I looked very closely at Joaquin and Nopales.
I was going to say,
Joaquin leans over and like very loudly whispers, "That means no fire."
They will kill you.
The ironbound immediately, the ones that are just like villagers over there carrying bags of flour and shit, immediately stop. The ones that moving for a second, the ones that are guards gather around you instantly. And they're like, what did you just say? I can't hear you. I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
I told them
Nothing.
don't. Him.
Nothing.
Sorry.
He
Right.
said nothing.
I'm watching you, soft plant. And they back up and they step away.
Soft plant. Ozetta started laughing.
That's a different joke that I would have made, but I love it.
They ask you, well, and by this I mean they only address Jacobite directly, and they go, "What brings you to the city? You're welcome to stay forever, of course."
This seems like a pretty cool retirement place, but I'm not ready to settle down yet.
Maybe
We
you are here
are-
to help us for the cause. As a fellow Ironbound, we would be happy to arm you, feed you.
What is the cause that you follow?
And they would the lot of you make what amounts to an insight roll. While he says, well, I mean, we are planning to wipe out the surface people.
Oh,
He says it all nonchalantly, like the surface people aren't right next to you, and that doesn't
Okay.
matter, right?
I was just making sure that, that we had the same cause.
You wanna take out-
Look at Joaquin, he looks so unhappy. He's like, what the fuck?
And I,
You mean you want to take them out?
Say that again.
You mean you want to take them out?
Them and
this
you.
guy gets it.
And Ozetta's just sitting here thinking, I'm not a surface person.
He didn't call you soft plan, did he?
I'm also keeping my mouth shut because I know better right now.
Konosai, what do you think? This guy's
Um,
being like aggressively rude.
I don't think Kanasai would honestly be listening too much to what he has to say. I think they would definitely be taking in the fact like, hey, be on your best behavior. But beyond that, I think Kanasai is definitely more interested in what's going on around them
Okay,
and like the architecture of the buildings.
you bet. These are preview buildings for sure. These are. I assume that San Francisco has things like brownstones in it. I've never actually been. I assume there are buildings like that.
They have what's called the painted ladies. It's like Victorian homes that are right next to each other, and they're all painted different colors.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Good to know. You bet.
Also, super steep hills everywhere.
That's what I was
so-
gonna say.
Yeah,
It's
I've
also
heard of
very
that.
hilly.
Yeah. There's a level, and I think it's one of the Sonic games that it opens up, and it's just one giant hill after another. And I'm going,
Yeah.
that's got to be San Francisco, right? Like
Pretty
that looks just terrible to drive in. Oh my god.
It's terrifying. My wife and I went there a couple months ago for one of our cousins' weddings, and yeah, it was awful to drive in.
I'm
It's
a
not terrifying to me. It's just aggravating.
I see. I'm a lifelong Spider-Man fan, right? Like I've been a fan since I was like 7. It goes Count Dracula, Darkwing Duck, Spider-Man in that order, right? Like I've been a Spider-Man fan for as long as I can remember. And I'd never been to like a big place like New York until a few years ago. And having gone and not knowing better, well, sort of knew better, we drove. When you get there, you got to have a place to put the car, which proved to be a right pain in the ass. And we were almost late to places that were less than 20 minutes away because we drove, right?
Mhm.
Which is ridiculous. And I grew up on, Spider-Man comic books, video games, right? Cartoons. And now all those jokes where he's like, dude, it's New York. Who owns a car? Are way more funny than they already were. Holy shit, those are.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the Kanosai, what you're looking at is a large market square, lots of buildings and little like pop-up stands. Most things here are not made out of wood. Presumably the Ironbound would find it, squirrely to make stuff out of the stuff they're made out of. Humans don't have buildings made out of skin, right? So almost everything is made out of stone or brick or whatever. The reason I had you all roll an insight check is who passed that anyway?
I got a 6 and a 5.
You bet.
4 and a 1.
Say that again. A what and a 1?
4 and a 1.
You bet. So the only ones of you who get that are the people who rolled 6s, because in the other one, the success with the squirrel is really no way for me to work that one out. Those of you who got 6s, notice that he said, we'll feed you, we'll arm you and feed you, and you know that they don't eat. So he goes on to talking about Jacobite, like, yeah, I'll get you a place to sit and we'll outfit you and please come talk. And he welcomes you with open arms, like you're a fellow Ironbound, and that's all it takes. Kanosab, you're looking at a heavily populated but not heavily armed market square. Lots of people are trading. Most of it looks like food, bags of flour and apples and crap. It's all pre-V. Most of it has like original stamps on it. There's an old pre-V in here. You're looking at some residential buildings, but there's also a large warehouse, much wider than it is tall, and what looks like some sort of processing plant. You can hear the sounds of like pumps and pistons inside of it. There's a smokestack in it that isn't in use. Nothing's coming out of that, but it's a big building.
Very interesting. I'd be curious to check out what's making all that noise in there. Not curious enough to trespass, but if we walk past, maybe like peek in a window or something.
You bet. What does everybody else think before I get back to Jacobite? Because while this could easily become all about him, I don't want to do that. Nepalese, what do you think? This guy said, don't burn anything. And I heard you go, like your soul died a little. What do you think? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they want to burn up there where they are. I mean, maybe the enemy of my enemy is my friend right now. I'm going to,
okay, it's an interesting way to look at it.
behave for a little bit.
that Machiavelli who said it's better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. I'm pretty sure that was him. Okay, sure. So you're okay with this to some extent?
Look, man, the man's causing all this. I mean,
The man, right?
Man,
Okay,
man.
you Ben. Ozetta, what do you think? As a squishy jelly person,
I mean, she's definitely sitting there like, we're gonna take over the, the people above, and it's like, well, it's a good thing my people are from down here. But at the same time, like, she's not gonna make a stink. She knows how badly the Ironborn are treated. And she's like, you know what? You have the right to not trust us, and I am just gonna behave myself while I'm here.
you bet. Joaquin, what do you think?
He's just pretty nervous right now.
Catatonic.
Trying to make sure that he seems like as buddy with Jacobite as he possibly can to the other Ironbound.
Sounds good.
I know that he's not a threat.
Where is everybody in position to everybody else? So like Jacobite, how close is everybody to him and to each other? Like who's in the front, who's in the back? There's enough space. You don't have to like walk in a straight line or anything. I just didn't know where you were in position to each other.
Joaquin is going to be as close to Jacobite as he can be without it being uncomfortable.
Okay. Jacobite, humor me, how close is that? Do you have 6 feet of personal space? Or is this like a New York inch? What are we talking about?
Yeah, 6 feet of personal space is probably fair.
I see. Okay. Okay, sounds good. And so Joaquin is like as close to 6 feet away as he can get. Where's everybody else? I guess the big question is, who's the farthest from you?
Probably me.
Probably you. You
Yeah.
bet.
yeah. Meanwhile, I'm actually going to like grab like some cloth, and I'm going to act like I'm shining Jacobite up, like
I'm buffing him. Right.
My servants.
Nice. Kano Saib, a large barrel-chested like Jacobite, but a little bit taller and darker of wood, bumps into you on purpose. He definitely marches into you and says, "Get out of my way."
Okay, I guess I will get out of the way.
Go ahead.
No, it's just I feel like Kanasai would probably say something under their breath that's probably not super polite, but
Do you have anything in particular? He definitely stepped into you on purpose. He was definitely just being a dick. And then immediately blamed you, like, watch where you're going.
Probably call him very rude. I'd probably just say, wow, that was rude.
He goes, right, like you have any rights. Get out
Yeah.
of my way. And he puts his hands on you to move you out of the way. Does that, how does that go over?
Kanasaib is kind of a live and let live kind of creature.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Me too, but there's a line, right? Like, I don't know if somebody crashes into me, blames me, and then puts their hands on me, if that's going to be enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know.
When you're in hostile territory, there's quite a lot you'll put up with.
Yeah, you're probably right. You bet. So the whole thing ends without incident. He called, like, better life form, make way, but he doesn't actually like do anything about it. All of the Ironbound in the place look at you though when he crashes into you, and yeah, there's no sympathy there at all, except for one Ironbound who looks substantially smaller. I don't know if there are such things as Ironbound children, but he is short. He's like 3 feet. He looks like a dinghy that got smashed and then reassembled.
It's like my height.
Yeah. And you see him behind one of the stands, and he leaks, like from where his face would be. He leaks the Ironbound equivalent of a tear.
Oh.
I'm figuring like a little black inky bit or something. Jacobite, what do you think? What's the plan? They want to like take you in and into the fold and get you armor and weapons, and
I'm gonna ask these guards if there's a place that I can send I'm gonna call them servants now, just after seeing what I saw. Is there a place that I can send my servants that they would be out of the way and not inconvenience anyone?
we have an incineration pit.
Well, that would inconvenience me.
Fair. Have you considered incinerating them anyway and just getting a band of ironbound? Now that you're,
Eh,
I'm sorry, on a meta level, are you considering that? Like,
no, I'm just making a dramatic pause to make it appear like I'm considering that. I would say, but then
I'll
I'd have to
start signing you
train
back
someone.
when you pause it.
Yeah. But then I would have to train them. Like I've already got these trained. Should they just go back outside and wait for a little bit? Would that be better?
no. If they're really with you, then I will do my best to. And he glares at the big guy who bumped into Kano's side, who is clearly coming around to bump into you again, right?
Oh,
And he kind of
no.
glares at him and he goes, "We will do our best to behave. We are better than them, aren't we?" And the big guy goes, and he goes, "Aren't we?" And the big guy apologizes and leaves. And by leaves, I mean he goes and blends in with the rest of the crowd. And he goes, turns and apologizes. "I appreciate your effort to blend in, but I didn't miss the part where you came through the gate and he called you his friends. I don't understand that at all, but he's an ironbound and that's enough for me. So I cannot guarantee you will not suffer any disagreement in the town, but I can promise that no harm will come to you without equivalent retribution. And since ironbound don't like to die, that should be enough. Now that we've settled that whole situation, what brings you to Enclave?
Well, we've been on a little bit of a journey lately. We're looking for this structure that I believe is to the west. We've been following the river, and we heard about the town here, and I wanted to meet you.
You're welcome to stay. Like I said, having non-traditional friends doesn't change that. You're welcome to stay too.
Thank you.
We'll try not to stay too long and outstay our welcome.
I don't actually have I don't hate, so I don't have a feeling I can channel up for this guy. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I was like, "How do you hate? How do I know if I hate?"
You hate?
She does. It's a whole thing. And I was like, "How do I?" I didn't mean that as an insult at all. I know her score, And I was like, "You hate? How do I know if I hate?" She goes, "Do you have anybody who's a picture of, a mental image of, or saying the name of, makes your blood turn funny colors and boil in your skin?" And I went, "No." She goes, "Do you love Amber?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "You see that? There was no thought in the second one, and you had to ponder on the first one. No, you don't hate."
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know. It's not in dislike. It's a whole nother thing.
In the terms of my family, you have someone in your mind that if they were on fire, you would not cross the street to piss on them. That's hatred.
I don't have
Until after they're dead.
Yeah, I don't have that. So whenever I have to play a truly hateful shit, I have a hard time doing it. Because I have nothing to tap there.
So at that point, I think I'm gonna do something. We'll see.
Oh boy.
It's not that scary. It's not that scary.
So say we're all gonna die.
No, don't worry. It's cool. We might die
I
later.
have an idea. We all go,
Yeah, hold my beer.
No, hey, I have an idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to the guard and say, "Hey, so I found this list way up there of other ironbound who had been captives or slaves. Is that something that this group would be interested in freeing other ironbound?"
Absolutely.
Would me giving this to you be enough to offset any inconvenience of my group?
Yes, but you don't have an issue there. As we said, they're welcome to stay. That's it. There's no. I understand there's some animosity there, but there will be no disagreement. There's no score to settle. That's it.
Sure.
If you speak for them, that's enough. We already are in the habit of retrieving ironbounds who are put into chains. We had this part of our mission. You're welcome to be a part of it.
I have another mission at the moment, but I like where you're going.
Does it keep you down on this level? We would be happy to send a detachment with you or ahead of you if that's your preference.
We'll be down on this level for a little while. We're going towards a large iron structure, roughly that direction.
Oh, the Golden Peaks, don't go there.
Why is that?
There have been large tectonic activity recently. Huge roots have split up out of the ground there. If you're going for the mystic vault of those obnoxious canine creatures, don't bother. It's covered in roots. They'll never see it again, let alone open it.
A vault, you say? I'm playing
Yeah.
dumb, by the way.
Yeah, I figured. Right. Yeah, they think it's some, I don't know, promised land or something. It's not our myth. Who cares? But yeah, they think there's some sort of treasure or kingdom or something. I don't pay a lot of attention. They're obnoxious, heinous, hateful creatures.
Why don't you make them your pets? You said they're dogs, right?
Well, because they break when we punish them.
Oh,
We've
okay.
tried.
That's fair. Probably better you don't then.
Right. It's not worth the hassle.
Sure. Well, nevertheless, that's the direction we are supposed to be going. I understand if you don't feel like sending any contingents out ahead or whatever, but that's the way we have to go for now. But how about I leave this list with you that we retrieved, not just me, we retrieved. It was everybody.
He surveys the room, right? Like you and your friends, and he kind of, you're not sure he really buys that, but he takes the list, thanks you for it. And part of him is one of those like big horns that ships blow, so they are coming into the fog, right? And that sound wails out, and several ironbound come out of nearby buildings, including Kanoside, the one that's a manufacturing plant. You see what's inside there. There are huge pumps going on some sort of assembly line. It looks like, you get the briefest glimpse of it, it looks like large metal shells, like suits of armor, but for people that are way bigger than humans. Ironbound, maybe. And you're right, his eyes just went, boop.
I like the sound of that.
Am I under the impression here that they're making armor for Ironbound or they're creating Ironbound?
You're not really sure. You didn't get a look that's good enough. It could have been, could be one, could be other, could be both. Do you hide that glance? Do you do your best to like hide the look?
Oh, yeah, I'd probably try to be stealthy about it.
Okay, sounds good. Roll for that because it might matter.
Okay.
Oh boy.
662.
Nice, you bet. So not only do you hide that glance effortlessly, but you have a narrative twist if you want it.
What was it really?
Yeah, you can decide. You bet.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to have that kind of control over the narrative.
Do it.
I would like for the narrative twist to be that I can see how the inside of the factory is powered. Because you said there's no smoke coming from the stacks, so it's got to be
Right.
powered by something.
You bet. You see what looks like a large glowing, it looks like a tree. It's all gnarled and brambly, closer to a bush, right? Lots of big thorns. The whole thing pulses and glows in the back of the plant. No, sorry, a plant in a plant. I didn't mean to do that. And there's like not wires so much as vines that have been like ripped out and stretch out into the various machinery. Some sort of biomechanical system is at work. That if that thorn bush isn't powering the plant, you're not sure what is. You can feel the energy from here when the door opens.
Cool.
The door closes. These four men, they're men, 4 ironbound gather around you. They have large, they're not like comically large, but larger than they need to be, swords made out of metal that they've bothered to carve like they're fancier. They're big and imposing. They've got channels and like what looks like mock runes all over them. They don't glow or anything. It's clearly ornamental. But they agree to go with you. 3 guys have a sword. The 4th guy has what looks like a cannon, like off of a ship, that makes up most of his chest.
Nice.
I want to be friends with that guy.
He looks at Ozetta and he says, don't take this the wrong way or anything, but I could probably fire you out of me.
That sounds awesome. Maybe we should try that. I mean, it's not like I have bones to break. These can be replaced.
He does like a deep belly chuckle and the cannon goes up and down like Santa's belly laugh. And he goes, I like her. The other 3 ironbound curl their lip at the idea that he likes one of you, right? And he goes, what? She was game. And they look very unhappy.
You think I'm joking? Like, we're gonna find a time to do. There's gonna be a reason for us to do this, and we're gonna do this.
He goes, we're headed to the big roots, right?
Mhm.
I didn't just mention that to be funny. There's a hole in the top of the roots, I think. And I think if I shoot you out and over it, you know what I mean?
How's your aim?
I don't like to talk about it.
Good enough for me.
The wood turns a little bit pink. He looks very embarrassed very fast.
Good enough for me. So you're saying there's a chance.
Wait. The town is that way.
Joaquin immediately pipes up and he's like, I can help you with that if you'd like.
Yeah.
The aim.
Well,
You got the power. He's got the aim. I have the flexibility.
Yeah, right. The impact resistance. Yeah.
The indiscretion for my own safety. I don't know.
Yeah. So where to from here? The ironbound do their best to not give you any shit. Many of them are choking that back, right? It's like when we did slavery and they were free on paper, right? Like it's not the same. The animosity just doesn't disappear because the guy was like, we'll behave, but they do the best they can. And after the initial shock of you appearing, many of them, this is very much like a village where only a couple of people actually hate you. And everyone else is just kind of like, we were making fun of you because everybody else was making fun of you.
So I guess I would ask the rest of you, do we want to, do y'all need to rest for a little bit? I mean, I'm an ironbound. I don't exactly sleep per se.
I mean,
but
I suppose we've been going for a while.
yeah, I figure it's been at least a big long day. So maybe we could hang out here for an evening or so and
Would you all mind? We'll stay out of the way and mind our own.
They go, you are welcome to stay. As I said, I can't control the animosity, but I can control the aggression, and you will not suffer any.
It's all right that you guys are angry. We understand, and we don't expect you not to be.
So maybe while they're resting, I would like to kind of see what they have market wise, since I'm probably the only one that can do any purchasing for the group.
By and large, they sell things like food and clothing, but it's all human, like regular, more traditionally formed clothing. Almost like there's no clothing here that will fit you. None of it. And
Sure.
There's no money. They're all just like that's like kids on the playground with Pokemon cards. They're just trading in relative perceived worth. There are weapons going back and forth, but all by and large, it's just a bunch of Ironbound trading in things that are to them curiosities. You see a couple of Ironbound in the corner who are rolling dice, and they have what looks like a brightly colored, very thin. I'm going to use the word cardboard very generously here. That says Captain Crunch on the front of it, and they are gambling over it. They have dice on a barrel and everything.
Wow.
Nice.
I can't even imagine how stale that food is. But they want it. It's like a bunch of Comic-Con nerds arguing over the shiny thing.
Do
As
I
a-
see any Twinkies?
Let's say you do. There's a couple of like Little Debbie leftovers.
Because you know that's the only thing is still good.
The end of the world, and all I want is an effing Twinkie.
I'm thinking there's a
Exactly.
couple of Twinkies, a couple of ding dongs, and one of those ho ho looking things in like a batch, like an auction, right?
Yeah,
They're selling off preview stuff, but not with money. They're all arguing about it, and it's not just like, here, have my shiny thing for your shiny thing. There's here my shiny thing, and I'll help you keep your house clean, or my shiny thing, and the next raid I'll go and you can stay here, right? But the thing that's being fought over the most is a small plastic bin filled with little cardboard discs.
Oh my god.
Is there one really thick metal one?
It looks like it's made out of some sort of dense plastic, but yes. That gotta be like the most worthless thing ever.
We all thought they'd be worth
Lovely.
something.
We did, didn't we? Like,
had
I don't know
some-
why we
lovely.
reasonably thought that. They are cardboard discs.
Because
Like,
we were dumb children. That's why.
Because marketers are good.
they are good at what they do, aren't they? Yeah. So do you want in on any of this?
Yeah. Do I see any? They said they would outfit me. Do I see any weapons areas or, gear?
Yes, but that doesn't look like it's part of the general like mass
Sure,
market
sure.
Yankee swap. You see Ironbound coming up to a display of armored weapons that would fit you,
Mhm.
picking the pieces that they like, putting them on, and then marching off into a nearby building. You could just fall in line if you wanted.
Can I study it for just a sec to see if the marching into the other building is willing or unwilling?
What do you mean?
Like, are they compelled to march into the other building, or what? Or can I tell?
Yeah, you don't see anything out of it. They're very stiff, like military regiment, but
Mhm.
you don't see like their eyes don't glow. There doesn't seem any obvious trace of mind screwery. But feel free to roll for that anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Screwery.
want.
I like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't
just
think I've
wanna
ever actually
check.
said that before. Screwery. I'm keeping it.
5-4.
You bet. So they once they put the armor on, there's a just the tiniest little like twitch when they first get it fully fitted, and then they walk into the building. But they don't walk any stiffer. They don't look any different.
Okay.
They don't all twitch, but some of them definitely do.
Okay. I want to look around just a little more. Do I see any non ironbound weapons anywhere?
Yes, in the big old Yankee swap, there are people tracing weapons back and forth that are clearly too small or too awkward for ironbound hands to use.
Okay. So
You do notice in that pile of stuff that some of those weapons look like they were made recently, and that the ironbound that are trading them are just making casual jokes about the people they ripped them from. Like, if that story's true, if half of those stories going back and forth are true, they killed people to get them and then have just like kept them as trophies. There's still blood on some of them.
okay.
Means
Well-
anybody we know? Do you?
It's not one of
Maybe.
us, so who cares?
Yeah.
And if it was the captain, then I'll
Did that guy
around
would
the
drop
drinks.
down here?
Yeah, that guy's still down here somewhere, isn't he?
Should be here
Maybe.
somewhere. Yeah, yeah.
maybe. Okay, so I guess I want to look and see if there's anything that I feel like any of the group can use.
Okay, in the
Maybe,
swap meet or on the wall?
yeah, in the swap meet. The wall I assume is gonna be me, so I'm gonna go over to that after I maybe do a little bit of
You bet.
finagling.
You see a couple of whips there that look like they would double as something to swing from, like an Indiana Jones kind of whip.
Mhm.
They look pretty stable, like well made, recently oiled. Those look like they're in good shape. And the ironbound discard them. They look at them and go, I don't even know what this is, and toss it in the corner. They don't even care. Like they none of them have any apparent value to attach to it. They're like, it's a strap of leather. For what? One of them
Are
makes
there
like a swinging monkey joke, and everybody laughs, and they throw it in the corner.
are there any firearms or anything like that?
The iron, you do see a pile of those, but they are being thrown into what looks like an overgrown cart that's got four wheels on the bottom. It's mostly plastic, it's mostly metal that's been painted white and gray in places, and you can see through it. It's a shopping cart, and they filled it up with guns, and they are busy rolling it towards the back of town. If you didn't know any better, and I'm not saying that you do, the people there, the ironbound that are doing that, they look uncomfortable. The guns freak them out.
So, is there anything else in the little Yankee swap that looks particularly juicy?
Well, there is one guy who is taking together what looks like the goo stuff that Ozetta is made out of. He's got some over here and some over here, and he's trying to squish them together, and he's frustrated because he goes, I don't understand. If I have enough goo, can't I wake up, damn it? And he yells at the black stuff and nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Are you looking for something specific?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
the firearms and the whips are great. Let's just say there's something there that catches my eye. I don't know what it is, but
Okay.
and this is what I'm gonna do. You know, you kind of said how this works. I'm going to offer a handful of the pink marbles.
Okay. Sure.
Because we've still got a bunch. I mean, when I say handful, not an ironbound handful, like a few, three,
right.
four,
And
something
they
like
look at him and they go, well, what do they do?
that. And I will go and make them spark.
They freak, right? They run away from you and get against the walls. And they go, traitorous freak. And cannons turn around and pop out of the towers and like extend and zoom in on you. And less time it takes to say it, you have two cannons on those towers that have extended like Goku's power pole to be this close to your face.
I say, no. It only happens if you do this together. You could do it to other things. They're fine. Oh, right. They're fine like this. It's only if you do that.
They don't seem to be okay with that. You watch something inside those, like way in the back of those cannons, start to light up, and I will see you in a week.